Welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. This is it. Don't get scared now. And how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for coming back to look at my stupid face one more time, where we talk about movies, I answer your questions, and some other random things happen along the way. But nevertheless, it's a magical and mystical time. So grab something cold to drink, 3 ice cubes, no more, no less, and a buttery, delicious bucket of popcorn, or whatever you want. That's up to you. Thank you for joining me once again. I have a lot to talk about today, and it's been a long time, and I've just been so busy and consumed with work, and by the time I get home, I have no energy left. Okay, my health bar is at 2%, and I'm hearing some guy say, "Finish him," in the background, and I'm just trying to avoid a harpoon coming through my skull. But we're here today, and I'm happy to see you guys once again. And I can't really see you, but I like to say that in a, the figurative sense. I feel like you guys are all here in spirit, or at least in the chats over here. So thank you guys so much. And like I said, this is going to be a loaded live show because I'm filled to the brim and I'm overflowing with random things I want to talk about and new movies I've seen over the last month. Just because I haven't been doing live streams or making videos doesn't mean I haven't been seeing movies. Oh, I've been seeing movies. Some good and some bad. Some very bad, shitty movies that we're going to dive into head first into that cesspool of disgust. But those movies today we are talking about will be Masters of the Universe. I have the power, but I don't have the box office success to justify a sequel. Also, Scary Movie. I believe this is Scary Movie 6. The last 3 scary movies sort of just blended together, and I forgot that they existed. I just remember Charlie Sheen was in one of them, and that's about it. And then we're going to talk about Backrooms, and I have a lot I want to say about Backrooms and Liminal Spaces. Then we're going to talk about Obsession, which was a fantastic horror movie. And then we're going to dive into Mortal Kombat very quickly. And then we'll top it all off with Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu. Yeah, we'll talk about that very quickly. So if you guys have any thoughts, feelings on these movies, please savor the flavor until we get to the topic and share your thoughts and your opinions as we talk about it, because I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And once again, how are you guys doing tonight? Let's do another party popper. Everyone open up. Say, there you go. You guys like party streamers, don't you? All right. So we had a great early question here from Carter Lovejoy, and thank you so much, Carter Lovejoy, for this magical question tonight. And the first question is going to be, what's the longest movie you've ever watched? Back in April, I watched Ben-Hur 1959. I don't know if I'm ready for another 3.5-hour movie. Also, I missed you, man. Welcome back. Well, I believe I watched Gone with the Wind once. How long is Gone with the Wind? Besides, it's very long. Gone with the Wind runtime. 3 hours and 56 fucking minutes. Yeah, that was 4 hours of my life. Now, it's regarded as a classic. I respect it. I liked it. I thought the filmmaking was, superb for the time period that it came out, and I still think it's superb to this day. Say what you will about the money, or say what you will about the movie. I watched it once, and I can safely say I will never watch it again. I watched it in college once for one of the classes I was taking, and I remember it took us a week to get through it. I may have napped at one portion in the movie, but I saw most of it. Do you guys remember COVID? When Gone with the Wind, there was some controversy surrounding the movie, and I get it. It was made, 70, 60 something years ago. It was a different time, man. But do you guys remember that controversy during COVID where all of the DVD copies and Blu-ray copies of Gone with the Wind were going for super high prices on eBay because they were trying to get rid of all of them? I don't know. I remember things like that. But now you can find it anywhere. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, so let's dive into the main topics. And I see you guys all in here. How you doing? We got greetings. We got Schindler's... What? Why are we talking about Schindler? Oh, for runtimes, yes. 4 hours and 24 minutes. What movie's that? We got Schindler's List in there. He-Man was goofy, but fun. Oh, we're going to dive into He-Man. Don't worry about that and check it out. I got my Skeletor shirt on. Basically, this is Jared Leto's face, all right? And I personally think if Jared Leto keeps having plastic surgery and Botox work done, his face will actually look like this at some point, and this might be a slight improvement. Just putting it out there. All right. So thank you guys for the questions. We will get to all the questions. Keep them coming. You got something to ask? Yeah, you got a topic? Submit it right now. I will get to every single one of those glorious questions. So keep them coming, baby. All right. So what do you guys say? We dive into some of the main topics. And the first main topic we have to talk about is, I have the power! Except I will not have the box office success to make another Masters of the Universe movie. Now, when it comes to Masters of the Universe and the He-Man franchise and IP and toy line from the 1980s, and keep in mind, this was a toy line that specifically got a cartoon series to sell more toys. And I'm okay with all of those things. I occasionally watched Masters of the Universe, the cartoon, when I was very young. I would watch replays. I remember on Saturday mornings they would show it. And then I remember all of my friends, and I had cousins that had a lot of the Masters of the Universe toys. They had He-Man, they had Fisto or whatever, Fistman. They had the guy who looked like a giant bee. What is his name? Like Buzzsaw or something like that. And a multitude of the other characters like Skeletor. And I remember always looking forward to going to their houses to play with these muscular action figures that were wearing loincloths, and they just looked like mutated freaks in a dark fantasy universe. And I remember I actually had Castle Grayskull. I think my grandmother got it for me because she found it at a garage sale, but I didn't really have any of the Masters of the Universe action figures. So I would have Batman, and I would pretend like it was the Batcave. It's a castle, it's a cave, same thing, interchangeable, okay? When you're young, your imagination runs rapid, all right? But back to the point. I always liked those action figures, and I always remember at a young age, and maybe this sounds really weird, but hear me out for a second. I remember always hyper-focusing on their muscle mass and their amazing trapezius definition and bicep definition. I was like, this is what a man should be. And then, years later, I started working out, and I'd like to think I got 1/10 of the way there. But anyway, my point is, let's all agree that at least this new He-Man movie, it's goofy, it's over the top, it's kind of crazy, and it's a little bit bland at times, but it is light years better than the 1980s Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie, where the guy playing Skeletor looks like he has baby powder on his face, and then you have Dolph Lundgren trying to act, okay? So at least this time around, it dives into some more fun, some more lore. It kind of feels like a He-Man movie at times. And I will say the best way to describe this new movie is it sort of has that same meta tone that every new action movie based on an IP from the 1980s has. For example, do you guys remember do you remember when I didn't have a speech impediment and I could pronounce Dungeons and Dragons? That came out a couple years ago starring Chris Pine. I thought that was a good time, but it's very meta, and it does give you all the lore and the fan service, but it's also very aware of what it is at times. And sometimes you can go a bit heavy-handed with that, but I thought the new He-Man movie made enough fun of itself, but also gave fans what they wanted to see, and that was just He-Man looking old jacked up, wearing underwear, punching bad guys in the face. And you get that in the movie. So if that's what you wanted from your He-Man movie, you get it. And I was mildly entertained by this movie. Now, the best way I guess I could kind of describe it is, this is the perfect drive-in movie. This is the perfect movie that you take a 10-year-old boy to, you give him a bucket of popcorn, and he will be immersed into this cinematic experience for 2 hours. If I was 10 years old watching this movie, I would probably really love it. But it is a bit bland at times, and it's not doing very well at the box office, to say the least. I think it's only made like $10 or $20 million on like a $150 million budget. But then again, what did they really expect from a Masters of the Universe movie with Jared Leto being the biggest star in the film? And by biggest star, he plays Skeletor, a motion capture character who's basically just really veiny and blue with amazing pecs. and he has a voice modulator. And really, anyone could have played this role. Jared Leto did not need to be in this movie. I don't know if he was contractually obligated by the studio and he owed them another movie in his contract. And he's like, okay, I'll do the Skeletor thing. And he just recorded all of his lines into like his iPhone and emailed it to somebody and they just slapped it into the movie. I don't know what was going on with this. But I will say this. This is probably the best performance from Jared Leto in 5 years. This is the best performance from Jared Leto since Dallas Buyers Club, okay? It's certainly better than Morbius. Can we all agree? Okay. I thought Skeletor was some fun in this movie. He's the quintessential bad guy who just you can make fun of in a way, but he's very stereotypical. And that's what Skeletor was from the cartoon series. I do wish that he would have chewed up the scenery even more than he did in this movie. I think there was even more room to go over the top and to be a little more rambunctious with it. But the dude who played He-Man, Adam Glenn, Nicholas Galitsian, I guess that's his name. I can't remember seeing him in anything else. But hey, the dude got in shape for the role. He was definitely doing his bicep curls, to say the least. And he looked like He-Man. I thought he was a fine He-Man. Really, the second biggest... And I do think the movie needed more star power. I think that was like the Achilles heel of the movie. Because you did have Idris Elba, who played Duncan. And really, thinking about that, this movie basically borrowed a lot from movies like Thor Ragnarok. It kind of felt like a B-rate Thor Ragnarok at times. Even the fantasy realm that He-Man lives in. And they both have Idris Elba being like the supporting secondary guy who helps the leading man. I don't know. Call me crazy. But I liked him in the movie. And I like that the characters look like the characters from the action or the cartoon series and the action figure lines. It was fine. It's an okay movie to watch once. And my biggest complaint with it is it did feel like it got a little mind-numbing after a while. They were just going place to place and the story was getting thinner by the runtime. And it looked very digital at times. It kind of looked flat and digital. And I think what they should have done for this He-Man movie to give it a little more stylistic punch was they should have sort of capitalized on that dark fantasy vibe that people feel. I don't know about you, but that's sort of like a vibe and a genre I'm kind of craving. And this just looked kind of flat and digital. Like, I think it should have leaned more into that 80s vibe. And if for anything, maybe this movie should have taken place in the 1980s. Like, I just think that would have added another layer of immersion if it just wasn't a modern day movie and it took place in the 80s. Especially when Adam's living his life as an HR manager on Earth before he transcends back into his fantasy land. But anyway, I thought it was fine. I watched it once. I ate some popcorn. I had an okay time. It's a Masters of the Universe movie. It's not the Shawshank Redemption. You can't hold it to that high of a pedestal. It's okay to watch. Take some kids there. Take your family there. Watch it at the drive-in theater, and you'll instantly forget about it. And maybe in a couple years, you'll watch it on a rainy night while you eat some frozen pizza. Okay? That's Masters of the Universe. Let's go to the next topic. But leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. Let's see what you guys had to say. Oh gosh, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. I don't remember how to do this. Oh man, I don't... Where's the chat box at? Okay. Well, I'll do my best here. We're sick of the 80s and the man-child from the 80s. I'm not sick of it at all. I'm a guy wearing a Skeletor shirt. Clearly, I would rather live in that time period. Modern day movies are terrible. Do you want to watch characters talking on their iPhone, scrolling on TikTok? Ugh, that's nauseating. I'd rather slap myself in the face with a leather mallet, whatever that is. A leather mallet? I don't know. But I'd rather jump off a cliff head first. That's all I'm saying. Take me back to the 80s. Take me back to the 90s. Storytelling was just better. Jared is the villain of his own. Yeah, he definitely is. And listen, the reason I feel like this movie's failing at the box office, and call me crazy, I just think Jared Leto is bad luck. he is box office poison. Even if his face isn't in the movie, the fact that he was in the movie is just cursed. Danny says, "What's up, John? Not much, man. How are you, Danny? How's life going?" Too Marvel color-coded for me. Yeah, it definitely had that flat, digital, Marvel kind of color grading to it. And that, once again, that's my biggest complaint. Just all you have to do is when you're editing the movie, crank up the saturation by 3%, crank up the contrast by 3%. That you're just, there you go. Add a little depth to it. I like the 1987 Masters of the Universe, James Dozier. Yeah, I watched it a few times. It's okay. And by okay, I mean it's utterly terrible. Okay. Carter Lovejoy says, Cinemassacre recently put out a video on why movie theaters suck now. I mean, I think we all know why movie theaters suck now. There's 10 reasons that you could just regurgitate over and over again. I would agree with them, probably without even watching the video. John, where the F have you been? I've been working, man. I just work every day. And by the time I come home, I'm just really tired. Really tired. And I just need to sit down and collect my thoughts. But I missed you guys. And now that I'm good at what I do, I can kind of mentally separate the two things. And now I can focus on YouTube and my normal day gig. So there's that. Okay. Right. Let's go to the next topic here. Okay. So, did you guys watch the brand new Scary Movie? Well, I know I did. Now, I really enjoyed Scary Movie 1 and 2. I think Scary Movie 2 is the funniest of the franchise. You had the character Handsome. Hey, take my strong hand, child. I just thought that character was phenomenal. I think that was the funniest one of the bunch. But going into this movie, and especially with this newest Scary Movie, and let me go to X here. If you say anything bad about this movie, there's like a weird cultish following for like junky, shitty B-rate movies that you have to be halfway to being a troglodyte to really embrace and think are really good movies. Now, if you had an entertaining time with this and you're a fan of the scary movies, I get it. Hey, by all means, it's a parody movie based on horror franchises. It's fun, it's okay, but it's nothing more than a series of SNL skits, and half of them aren't really that funny. But when I gave my opinion on this movie on X the other night, if you say anything, I said this. I said, I watched Scary Movie 6. I should have watched Masters of the Universe instead. And you know what? After watching Masters of the Universe, I do stand by that. At least I had muscle-bound dudes covered in baby oil. Okay, it felt like a random series of skits that offered a few mild chuckles before becoming repetitive. Too bad it came out before Backrooms. That would have made for an interesting parody. And I really think they could have based this entire new Scary Movie around like Backrooms with Ghostface. I think that would have been immensely more interesting. But based on that very, I think that was a very like okay review saying it's kind of shitty, but it's okay. People just lost their minds. Someone called me woke. I'm like, after watching Masters of the Universe, what? I couldn't even comprehend their logic. It felt like a random. But movies like this don't bring out critical thinking skills. Okay, let's all be honest with ourselves first and foremost. Now, when it comes to this movie, I thought there was like 3 or 4 funny jokes. I really did. The rest of it, like everything outside of Deputy Dewey or Deputy Doofus or whatever his name is, like nothing else was that funny to me. There were some pulp culture references that I don't think are going to stand the test of time in another 6 months. And really, it just wasn't that funny. And by the halfway point of Scary Movie, it just became a series of scenes that did not connect with one another. And I get that it's a parody movie. I completely understand these things. It's not that complicated, okay? We're talking about Scary Movie fucking 6, all right? It's made for someone who has the IQ of a pudding cup, all right? And if you sneeze too hard, it leaks out of your ear. But what I am saying is the last half of this movie was just a series of skits that did not connect, that had no story weaving through them, and it was just characters doing random things to where like I was like, what are we even doing right now? I was too confused to laugh at what they were trying to be funny about. And I do think the central core of this movie, it needed to focus on one movie. Like, you had Ghostface, yeah, that's the main tormentor of the film, the antagonist, but it needed to focus more on like something like Sinners or something. It needed to pick a movie. And when you look at the first Scary Movie, it was heavily Scream, okay? And then you take the second Scary Movie and it was like House on Haunted Hill. Or not House on Haunted Hill, The Haunting. With Catherine Zeta-Jones, right? That's what they kind of based it around. It all took place in a haunted house. But this one, they're just jumping everywhere. And I'm like, I don't even know what's happening. So it wasn't very well written. It really wasn't very well directed. And it's just, you know, it's the Wayans brothers, you know. It's the same guys who brought you White Chicks, which there is a cameo of White Chicks in this movie, which I think was kind of fun, you know, and terrifying at the same time. But it's really just not a very good movie. It's sort of one of those movies that, you know, it'll come out on streaming in a month or two, and we'll forget that it exists, much like we forgot that Scary Movie 3, 4, and 5 exist. And really, when it comes to Scary Movie, we reference the first one and maybe the second one. So I think it was instantly forgettable. I don't think it was very good. I actually think it was kind of bad. And I never want to watch it again. And I think there was so much more potential. So anyway, what'd you guys think about Scary Movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let's see. Scary Movie 3 has its moments with Charlie Sheen. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I like Carmen Electra, but it doesn't make the movie necessarily good. I feel if you're a fan, you're going to love it. It's a movie for fans. What does that even mean? I do not like that logic, and I do not like that argument. What does that even mean? It's a movie for fans of what? Fans of fucking shitty movies that aren't funny? I don't want to be a fan of that. I want to be a fan of good movies. No, I'm a fan of the first Scary Movie. I'm a fan of the second one. This one just was not a good installment in the franchise. Is the audio good now? Let me know. Let me know if the audio is good. Let me hear it over here. I'll turn this bad boy up. Come on, baby. You a fan of that? A good movie. Is the audio good now? Let me know. Let me see. Let me double check the audio. It's been a while. I had to redo a lot of technical things with this. Is the audio good now? Sounds good to me, man. Okay. If the audio sucks, someone tell me. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So those are my thoughts on Scary Movie 6. I really don't ever want to talk about the movie again, but it does have a weird cult following. And if you don't like the movie, people either call you woke, say you're just not a fan of the franchise, or say it's like you just don't like offensive humor. And for me, this is not even like an offensive movie whatsoever. I did not find anything in this movie offensive. And then again, you're talking to a guy. I really don't genuinely think I'm offended by anything. I don't think I could ever watch anything in a movie and be offended by it. That's the truth. For me, my type of humor is dark humor. The darker, the better. You know, I watch Silence of the Lambs, and I find laughable enjoyment in the scenes of Buffalo Bill when he's torturing people down in a well and cutting their skin off to make a lampshade made out of nipples. That's just me. So anyway, I don't think fart jokes are like offensive. Call me crazy. I don't know, man. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right. Now the next movie we have to talk about, which just might be one of my favorite movies thus far in 2026. And this movie really resonated with me because I love liminal spaces. I don't know why. Ever since I was a kid, and I did not know what the term liminal spaces were until I was in my 20s. But when I was a kid, I would go places and I would see these old office buildings and these lobbies and these hallways, and they'd always give me this weird, eerie sense tingling down my spine. And I guess that was a liminal space, but for some odd reason, I find liminal spaces comforting. So going into Backrooms, and get rid of it's so much cleaner. Backrooms, I was really excited to check this movie out. And I think overall, I had a really good time with it. It was something unique. It was something different. It was directed by Kane Parsons, who is one of those up-and-coming YouTube film directors who used to make shorts focusing on the Backrooms, and he got a gig directing the feature-length movie, which is doing very well at the box office right now, and it deserves its success. And I will say this, the atmosphere, the immersion that this movie offers was superb. It was top-notch. If you want atmosphere and you want immersion, Backrooms gives you all of those things. And that is the kind of location and the kind of setting I want for an unsettling movie that just feels different. You know, and once again, something about 1990s liminal spaces, I don't know why, they make me happy. It kind of reminds me of like an empty Blockbuster. There's something weird and eerie about it, but I want to be there. And I want to be tormented until I become the worst version of myself. Now, when it comes to a few of my complaints with Backrooms, I think the story towards the third act, it did not quite flush itself out as well as I was hoping it would. It was a bit ambiguous, but it was almost to the point where it was so ambiguous where I don't feel like they even knew the answers to the questions that they were trying to make the audience ask. Like, you had Captain Clark, and I understand that when you go to the Backrooms, it's basically another dimension where you become the worst version of yourself. Okay, I can buy that. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But outside of that, what else is going on here? And then there was an entire subplot about people investigating the Backrooms and studying the Backrooms and doing research on them that I feel like could have been flushed out a little bit more than they were. And I've read some I don't know if it's true. It might just be speculation at this point. I read that there were some deleted scenes that give you some more backstory on what's going on, which I think there should have been one or two more scenes with that. But man, overall, as far as the way that this movie was shot, I really enjoyed how it gave you that found footage POV vibe. And it gave you all the fan service you would want if you were a fan of Backrooms. But then it turned into like a standard movie. And I like how it kind of balanced those two things. But once again, just the hallways, the rooms, the atmosphere, the sets that they were walking around on. Oh, so top notch. And one TV series, one Netflix series that has done something very similar to this was Squid Games. Squid Games have a lot of like liminal spaces where the games take place. It just gives it this creepy, unsettling vibe. And that's one of the things that really drew me to that series. And the fantastic storytelling and the acting and all the other fun stuff. But I guess I just like people dying in liminal spaces. And I guess if I die, I want it to be in a liminal space. Call me crazy. I would like to be chased down the hallways of a 1990s office building by a creepy tormentor. And I would just go down random hallways until I ended up in the basement. And then I go into the wet rooms. And then I just die. That's really the way I want to go out. And that describes a dream I had the other night. But anyway, what did you guys think about Backrooms? Did you guys enjoy it? Do you guys like liminal spaces as much as I do? And do you think it's weird that I like liminal spaces? Maybe I should see a therapist. Uranium Cranium says, sorry, John, I have to go buy my groceries. Just buy them online, man. The people doing research on the Backrooms will probably be part of the sequel. Yeah, I definitely think they will be part of the sequel. I just think it left me hanging a little bit. That's all I'm saying. But I am looking forward to the sequel, Backrooms. I just hope it's a little. I hope the sequel has a little more story in it. That's all I want. Just give me a little more story in the Backrooms. And on a fun side note, the reason that the movie Backrooms takes place in a furniture store is because the original photo, I'll insert it here after I cut this video out and make a clip of it. The original Backrooms photo that inspired everything was actually found to be taken in a furniture store from like the early 2000s. So that's why this movie takes place in a furniture store. I just thought that was really interesting. So there's that. My guess is the government found the back rooms and are experimenting with other subjects and find more distance while keeping it covered. Yeah, it's some kind of dimension, but why is this dimension like a 1990s furniture store? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Okay, let's go to the next topic here. That's enough about liminal spaces, but first let me take a drink of this delicious Powerade. I've been drinking a lot of Powerade lately. It's good for electrolytes. Okay. All right. It tastes better than water. That's all I'm saying. All right. So the next movie I want to talk about is probably going to be the best horror movie of 2026. And it's a little movie called Obsession. Now, this is directed by Curry Barker, who is a YouTube director. He was founded on YouTube for making films, and then he got success and got his feature-length debut with Obsession, which really blew me away. This was top tier. And the fact that this movie was made for sort of a smaller budget and it looked this good and had the performances that it had just goes to show you what you can do if you just have some talent. And I thought this movie was phenomenal. I did leave a... Where is it at? Let's scroll down here. Give me 2 seconds here. Here we go. Okay. Director. He was founded on YouTube. I had this to say about Obsession on X when I saw it a few weeks ago. Obsession was the perfect blend of violent horror and dark romance comedy with subtle thrills. Really blew me away. Tension and an eerie atmosphere throughout. Definitely a fresh take on the be careful what you wish for genre. This is indie filmmaking done to perfection. Go see it. And I stand by those. The thing about this movie is it sort of reminded me of the movie Big just for a few seconds, because in the movie Big, Tom Hanks makes a wish at a carnival on a Zoltar machine where you put the quarter in and you make a wish and it spits out a ticket. It kind of gave me that little bit of a vibe where, like, be careful what you wish for, because if you wish to be an adult tomorrow, well, you might wake up in little kid's underwear and your mom shoos you out of the house and you have to live in a shitty apartment in New York City and your best friend's a little redhead kid that sneaks into your apartment and you hear gunshots in the middle of the night, but you get a very successful job as a toy tester and you make it big. And then some lady wants to come over and make love to you, but you're just like, no, take the top bunk tonight. So anyway... actually, I think Tom Hanks took the bottom bunk. He said you can be on top. But anyway, my point is, Obsession was a good time. And I thought the lead actress in Obsession, and what's her name? Let's see. Indy Navarrete. You know I can't read good. But man, she stole this movie. That was a performance of a lifetime. Just her mannerisms, the way she could... like her facial expressions, man, just made that so unsettling. And the way that the movie was filmed, it had this certain level of like dark comedy throughout, but it wasn't heavy-handed. It still gave you that eerie vibe while giving you just enough levity to make it really entertaining. And it went back and forth and balanced those two things so well. Just some of the shots where she's like creeping in the corner in the shadows and you can kind of see her face twitching. I thought that was phenomenal. I really did enjoy the ending, though I thought it was going to go a slightly different direction than it did. But man, Obsession was a good time. Cannot recommend it enough. And this is probably my favorite horror movie of 2026, right behind Backrooms thus far. So what'd you guys think about Obsession? Did you like it? Have you ever dated a girl that reminded you of the chick in Obsession? By the way, her character's name was Nikki. My wife's name is Nikki. And there might be a few similarities, just putting it out there. Anyway. Is the audio getting crappy again? I think what's happening here, give me a second here. I thought it was going to go a slightly different direction. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if we can... And this is probably my favorite horror movie of 2026. You know what it is? I think every time I share the screen, something weird's happening. Maybe that's what's happening. Is the audio good now? Let me know. Sounds good to me, man. Okay. I think it's every time I share the screen. Okay. All right. So those are my thoughts on Obsession. Is the audio good? Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, it's when I open a web page. Yeah, I won't open anymore. I think I did something weird. There's some kind of weird beta thing that my Streamlabs started, and I think it sucks. Okay. Now, we have 2 more movies to talk about, and then we will dive into your questions. Get over here! Now, let's talk about Mortal Kombat 2. Now, when it comes to the Mortal Kombat franchise, the originator from 1995, which I still say to this day is arguably the best video game movie ever made, and I stand by that. Now, growing up, I was a huge fan of Mortal Kombat, and I still am, but I used to religiously play the Mortal Kombat games. I could do a fatality with at least half of the characters. Now, I don't have the hand-eye coordination to pull off such a task, but I could back in 1995, 6, 7, and even 8, and maybe even into 1999. And then I sort of fell out of love with the Mortal Kombat franchise. But I remember that 95 movie just blowing me away as a kid. And after watching Mortal Kombat 2 a few weeks ago, I went back and rewatched that original 95 movie. And I remembered and relived why that movie was so great, and I feel like still holds up to today. It looks awesome. If you go back and watch that movie, the practical sets, the stunt work, the way it's just shot on film, and the soundtrack to that movie, the score, it just gets you pumped up. It makes you want to stand up and do scissor kicks in your underwear. Or at least it does for me. I mean, you have that techno theme. You have metal music playing throughout the movie. I just thought it was a good time. And it has so much charisma from all of the actors. And Liu Kang in that movie, man, I don't think we'll ever have a better Liu Kang than that dude. And Shang Tsung in that film, phenomenal. I forget the actor who played him, but man, you cannot top that. You actually had real actors portraying these characters. And for how outlandish it is, and speaking of outlandish, you had Christopher Lambert who played Raiden. But I just really enjoy that movie. And I don't think it's even a nostalgia thing. I just think that movie has so much flavor and variety, and it's just fun to look at. It's just not this bland digital thing that's instantly forgettable. And I think in another 20 years, that original Mortal Kombat will still be the quintessential Mortal Kombat movie that probably stands the test of time in comparison to anything else, especially Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is just a giant pile of dog shit, okay? But when it comes to the first Mortal Kombat that we got back in 2020, and then Mortal Kombat 2, that one that we got 5 years ago was just not very good. They hyper-focused on some made-up character named Cole, and when you have the lore of Mortal Kombat and you have hundreds of great characters, and you just have generic create-a-player number one guy step into the spotlight, you got to question what were they thinking. But I am glad to see that he was instantly murdered in this movie by Shao Kahn, which I quite enjoyed. And I thought Shao Kahn in this movie looked like Shao Kahn. And I thought a majority of the characters look like they should, and some of the settings look like the Mortal Kombat backdrops from the video game, and I loved all those things. I thought that was phenomenal. But my biggest problem with this movie is, going into it, I was really, really excited for Carl Urban to be taking on the character Johnny Cage. And Johnny Cage oozes charisma in this movie. Carl Urban chewed up the scenery with this character. Now, had the movie heavily focused on this character, like the trailer sort of promised that the movie would, I think this would have been a better movie. Instead, Johnny Cage kind of takes a sidestep, and then you focus on Katana's character throughout this new Mortal Kombat movie. And her character is just really bland, sort of boring. The actress who played her was just really bland and sort of boring. And I did not think anything revolving around her character was interesting in the slightest. Now, you can make the same argument that the original 95 movie kind of focuses on her character too and her relationship with Shang Tsung. And that's fair, except I think that was a better actress, and they didn't take so much time to tell the same story that they kind of do this time around. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, I really liked Johnny Cage in this film. I like that he's this washed up B-rate actor. He's basically like Chuck Norris meets Steven Seagal or Jean-Claude Van Damme, right? He was huge in the 90s, and now he's doing fan conventions and just signing autographs, and he's really pissed about his life. But the best scene in this movie, and I wish the movie would have given us more of this, was there was a cut scene to one of Johnny Cage's 1990s movies. And it's the most outlandish B-rate movie you'll ever see. But there's like a missile that gets shot from a helicopter. Nothing makes sense. The helicopter blows up. It's clearly like a little model dangling from a string. I thought that was perfection. And I like Carl Urban quite a bit in this movie. And some of the other characters were cool, I guess. I really think there's a little more that they could have done. Like the main bad ninja this time around was Noob Saibot, I believe. I believe that's who it was. But I'm like, can we just resurrect like Sub-Zero again? Even if he was killed off in a previous movie, just bring him back again. Or bring back Sector and Cyrex or something. You know, the cybernetic ninjas of the Mortal Kombat franchise. But my biggest complaint with this movie isn't really the story. It's not even the acting. It's none of those things. And it is bloody and gory, and you get some fatalities. But I will say, like, the fight choreography at times was a bit underwhelming. There is one really cool fight scene that looks like it's straight out of the video games with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. And I thought that was kind of cool. But outside of that, there really wasn't that memorable of a showdown, which is kind of unfortunate when you have a Mortal Kombat movie. Or at least for me, it was. Some of it was just really, like, there was a really bad fight scene with Sonya Blade and, what's her name? Shao Kahn's lady friend. She has white hair, whatever her name is. I forget. Whatever. She used to scream. That was her thing. I just thought that was really underwhelming. It looked like a scene from the Saw franchise that I just didn't feel like it was right for this movie. But my biggest complaint is the sets in this movie. From a distance, you're like, oh, that looks like a Mortal Kombat backdrop. But it feels like they basically had a 10 by 10 box with a green screen behind it. And they're like, everything that you do has to take place in this box. You're actually not going to move around the set. Like if you see stairs in the backdrop or like a bridge or a tunnel, like we're not going over there. We're going to stand right here in the center on this, in front of this 10 by 10 green screen backdrop, because we cannot afford to move anywhere else on the set. Like we can't even use like a milk crate to stand on to jump off of and pretend like it's a rock. You just have to stand right here in this little section, and we'll just put a whole bunch of CGI shit in the backdrop. And that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like everyone was just like stuck in this one small area during their fight sequences. And, you know, I guess you could make the argument, and this is just me playing devil's advocate, like, hey, in the original games, you had like one stage and you had to stick right in that stage. And that's it. That's all that you couldn't move further than that. And maybe that was the logic. But even beyond that, when they go to Outworld and you see like Shao Kahn and you see all the villagers that live in this ginormous city, and there's supposed to be hundreds of thousands of people and their lives are at stake. Who's going to conquer them? Who's going to win Mortal Kombat? It literally felt like they had 7 extras standing in the backdrop. And that was the representation of everyone who lives in like this city, this kingdom. And it just felt really underwhelming is all I'm saying. It just felt like this was a movie made during COVID and they shot it in front of a green screen and they just had like 7 extras and the cast and that was it. That's all they could do. But it wasn't that, you know. So I don't know why they did it like that. It just felt kind of small and condensed. It didn't feel as big and epic as I was hoping it would. Yes, the levels are restrictive, but you know, when you have a movie, you can kind of open it up a little bit, I suppose. I don't know. It was okay. You know, it was okay. I was a little bit underwhelmed by it. When it comes to fighting games made into movies and adaptations, I'm really looking forward to the new Street Fighter movie. I think that immensely looks better than this new Mortal Kombat movie did. But anyway, you know, I don't know. I'll just go back and watch the original if I'm in the mood for Mortal Kombat. Much better soundtrack. And this new one was really underwhelming, in my opinion. Oh, and they did play the Mortal Kombat soundtrack, but right at the end credits. I was like, that could have been used during one of the fight scenes to make it more exciting. Yeah, I just wanted to fall asleep. Okay, and speaking of falling asleep, we have to talk about Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu. Now, when it comes to the Mandalorian Disney Plus series, I'm a fan overall. You know, I don't want to jump on the hate bandwagon. The later seasons kind of got crappy and underwhelming, and they went a few different directions that kind of watered down the series, in my opinion. But those first few couple seasons of Mandalorian are a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's like a Western show, and I enjoy The Mandalorian. I liked Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian. You know, before he starred in every single movie, and now he basically just lends his voice, and they have some other guy in the suit doing all the acting and stunt work. But nevertheless, when it comes to Mandalorian and Grogu, because you have to sell plush toys to the kids, this movie, the best way to sum it up is this was 3 filler episodes of The Mandalorian with slightly better CGI made into a movie. That's it. That's what this is. It doesn't progress the story. It doesn't progress the characters. You could easily not watch this movie, go into the next season of Mandalorian, and not miss a thing. That's it. Like, there was some fun action, I guess. There's a few scenes I enjoyed. I mean, the Mandalorian is just kicking ass and being the Mandalorian, and Baby Grogu's being all cute. There was one scene where Baby Grogu, I call him Baby Grogu, or Baby Yoda, whatever you want to call him, a little green pickle with giant ears. We can call him that if you want to. But anyway, if I owned a Baby Grogu, I put him in a cage in my basement, and I go down there every night and pet him. But my point is, there was a scene with Grogu who at one point saves the Mandalorian, and he builds this little mud hut as the Mandalorian's unconscious, and he doesn't quite build it large enough, so the Mandalorian's feet are sticking out. And I was like, that's a fun scene, okay. And there's a few moments like that I enjoyed. But man, at one point, and you can literally feel where the episode starts and ends throughout this movie, like the 3-act structure is so clear, except in a normal movie, when you have a 3-act structure, right? You have the intro, then you have the conflict, and then you have the resolution. In this movie, you just have the conflict, then you have the resolution. Then you have the conflict, then you have the resolution. And then you have the conflict, and then you have the resolution. You have 3 episodes of this show. It's not a movie. It's 3 episodes, okay? Narratively speaking, that is exactly what it is. But anyway, the movie, the second half of this movie focuses on Jabba the Hutt's teenage son who likes to do bicep curls and has muscle definition other than looking like a giant slug. And there was something about the voices that they were lending to all the like creatures and characters that were CGI in this movie that just did not fit. Like, it just did not make sense for the way they talked. It was very like modern day Disney Plus. It kind of cheapened the movie, in my opinion. It just sounded like some guy. It didn't sound like the Hutt. It didn't have that edge to it. It was too clean, and I thought the voice acting like did not fit with the characters. It made it feel like a B-rate cartoon. So anyway, yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu, I instantly forgot about it. To be honest with you, the more I think about it, the more I can't remember about the movie. So it's a filler episode that lasted 2 hours. That's Mandalorian and Grogu. Those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the movie? Share them down below. And by the way, isn't Star Wars as an IP just so low in the depths right now? Like, this is the first Star Wars movie we've gotten in a couple of years, and this is the best they could give us. Just 3 episodes of Mandalorian crapped out in the theaters. Oh, man. But I will tell you this, on a side note, because of this movie, I do have an upcoming movie night video where I go back and revisit The Phantom Menace, and I also review a TV, and that's what I watch it on. But anyway, I do talk about The Phantom Menace quite a bit in the video. And I'll be honest with you, and I say it in this upcoming movie night video, the more time that goes on, the more I appreciate shit like the Phantom Menace. Like, compare Mandalorian and Grogu, compare the Rise of Skywalker, compare those to Phantom Menace. At least Phantom Menace has some flavor. It's got a little heart. Like, you can crap on Jar Jar, but at the end of the day, like, you still have some other cool shit in the movie, like Duel of the Fates. It has memorable sequences, and even if Jar Jar is a terrible character, at least we remember him. Like, he sucks. He's terrible, but I remember that character. Like, at least I can remember it. And don't even get me started on Darth Maul. Great villainous antagonist. What a great Sith. So anyway, those are all the movies I wanted to talk about during this live show. Now, let's dive into your questions because I've been talking for 51 freaking minutes. All right. Let me take a drink of this delicious Powerade and we will dive into your questions. Hydration is very important. Remember that. Yeah, and the pod race scene. Yeah, I do talk about that in the video too. Like, it has great scenes in the movie. Like, yeah, it does focus on, like, boring political debates and conversations, and you got little Jake Lloyd with a bowl haircut running around saying, yippee! But I'm okay with things like that. Okay, let's scroll back and answer some of your questions. And guys, thank you guys so much for joining me once again on this live stream, the first live stream in over a month, and I hope to make it worth your time. And if it's not worth your time, well, just still give it a thumbs up anyway, because I have low self-esteem, and those digital thumbs up instantly make me feel better about who I am and what I'm doing in life. Okay? Stick it to the man. Don't let Google build another data center in your backyard. If you give this video a thumbs up, they can never hurt you. I'll protect you. Okay. James Dozier has been a member for 55 glorious months. Well, thank you, James Dozier. Thank you so much. I will love you for a long time, so thank you for that. The next one comes from Enriqueum GM. It's Enrique GM. You know I can't read. Okay. John, please be my friend. Never leave us. Oh, I'm your friend for life, man. In spirit and in heart. When you close your eyes at night, just know I'm there. Under you or on top of you. Wherever you need me, I'll be there. Protecting you. Holding you. Inside of you. Let's go to the next question. It's getting weird, but thanks for the question. You get a party popper. Okay, Gilliam LaBelle. How's it going, Gilliam? Thank you for joining me once again. Let me pull this string off my... There we go. All right. Gilliam says, hey, John. Mandalorian and Grogu was pretty boring, but really enjoyed Masters of the Universe. Cheesy in a good way. Sad to see it flop at the box office. Yeah, you know, I don't think you have to be like an expert in film or cinema. You just have to have a little common sense. I don't think there was ever a universe where Masters of the Universe was going to be like a runaway box office success. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it has its following, and I do feel like it's like a great family action movie to take like some young small kids to and just eat some popcorn. That's what the movie is. It really is. But I don't think it was ever going to be this juggernaut at the box office. And if the studio really thought that, they were sorely mistaken. I do think, though, once this movie comes out on streaming, maybe it'll have like a cult following. It's just we're talking about an IP that has not been relevant since 1987. And even then, the original Masters of the Universe movie did not do that well at the box office from what I can recall. So, I don't know. Was it one of those movies where they had to make it to retain the rights or something? I could not tell you. But with all that said, I found it mildly entertaining. Like, I thought it was the easiest movie to watch as you're laying in bed at night and you just want something like visually stimulating that's not going to push you to your limits, that you're going to forget about. And that's what Masters of the Universe is. But I would almost like to see a sequel. And listen, at the end of the day, say what you will, I just like seeing muscle-bound dudes beat each other's asses in a fantastical universe. I just really think the movie needed a little more edge, and it was a little too babyfied. Like, it pulled a few too many punches. It almost felt like it could have been a PG movie. It's like, I get that you want to cater to 8-year-olds, but at the same time, the fan base of this that were kids in the 80s are now like 50-year-old men. You got to give them what they want too. You know, we all want our muscle-bound dudes, but we want a little more violence. Okay. But thanks for the question, man. And here's your party popper. That was a dud popper. Poof! There you go. All right. The next one comes from Jebs1229, who says, glad to see you live again. Why do you think Obsession and Backrooms, both YouTube backgrounds, have been big hits where Shelby Oaks didn't really leave a mark? You know, I think it comes down to story and having something to say in your movie. But also, you know, it comes down to like the character moments. You know, these movies had phenomenal acting and character moments that were just fun, and you were glued to the screen when they were giving a performance. Like in Obsession, the leading actress, like phenomenal, chewed up the scenery. It was just unhinged. You couldn't take your eyes away from it. And it's such a simple concept when you really think about it, but it's just done to perfection. And when you blend a horror movie with like dark comedy, those are the two things that like complement each other perfectly. You know, and then you have Backrooms, which does have a built-in IP for it, all right? But also, it's something different. It gives you this atmosphere, this immersion. And for me, that's what I want when I watch a horror movie. And it was just something new and unique. And it definitely did something different with the found footage vibe. Typically, I'm not a big fan of found footage movies, but I think if you can blend that with an actual, with a standard shot film, or I think that's what I prefer. If the found footage makes sense for the story and it's not all found footage, that is my preference. Now, when it comes to Shelby Oaks, you know, I put out a review. I just feel like it was a lot of things we've already seen before, but none of them were done better than anything I've seen before. You know, the story maybe wasn't as captivating as it should have been. The script wasn't as polished as it should have been. Some of the things that connected the dots were kind of, I would say, like weak. And then you had the ending, which kind of left me baffled. So maybe that's why. But I think it comes down to story, and I think it comes down to script. And it comes down to seeing something new that you just can't take your eyes off of. I don't know. Hopefully that answered the question. Okay, let's go to the next one here. And by the way, Jebs, thank you for the question. Get a party popper right to your back room. Okay, let's go to the next one here. JRM 2017. Here it goes. John, what did you think of Euphoria Season 3? Well, Sydney Sweeney, they definitely utilize Sydney Sweeney's talents in that film, to say the least. Both of her talents. I like Sydney's. The more I see of her, the more, but like, she has a certain likable charisma. I really do mean that. Like, after watching The Housemaid, I was like, this works. You put her in a certain type of movie in a certain role, and she's like perfect for it. Now, when it comes to Euphoria Season 3, they definitely changed up the tone and vibe of Euphoria Season 3, and it sort of became like Breaking Bad, where the stakes got higher and the characters were in situations that you never thought you would see them in, based in their high school dramatic ways just a couple seasons ago. But I will say, for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I liked that. Well, this sounds weird. I don't mean this in a sexist way, even though, you know, I stand by it. Like Sydney Sweeney's OnlyFans. I think that was an interesting route for her character to go. And then you had the character Rue, who's like caught up in being a drug mule. I thought that was kind of fun. And the stakes were never higher. There was a lot of tension. And the character Alamo, I forget the guy's name. I thought he was like a ruthless bad guy. That kind of gave me like Breaking Bad vibes. I will say, though, by the season finale episode, I was really underwhelmed. Like, the way that they wrapped up some of the loose ends and like tied it all together, I liked what they did with the character Rue. I think that was like the best way to go. I just think that could have, it just makes sense. But But like some of the other characters, you question why they were even in the show. And there's some logic that didn't make sense. It was a little bit flawed. But like that final episode, I just thought was really, really underwhelming. I was like, oh, it's just a shootout. It's like a Wild West shootout in a strip club. Okay, this is it? All right, fine. But outside of that, I didn't mind it. And the fact that it was the final season, I think they just could do whatever they wanted to do with it. But I think the first season of Euphoria is probably the best. Oh, and the music in this new season didn't really stand out that much either. I felt like it was the Diet Pepsi version of a Tarantino movie at times, but at other times I thought there were some really well done shots. Like some of the intros that they would have before the title sequence would happen. I thought some of the openings were really fun. Like they definitely pushed the limits. And I liked that the show was not afraid to offend people. A lot of people were offended by Sydney Sweeney. I support it. Okay? So there's that. I liked it, but I get why a lot of people hated season 3 of Euphoria. Yeah, you can only carry on the high school drama so long, but I will say, like, I do think they could have toned it down and it maybe would have been a better season. Maybe slightly. I think it would have gave people what they wanted. I just think, like, the Alamo character, like, did you necessarily need a big evil bad guy for this entire season? I don't know. You could just have more drama. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from MKF30, who says, how'd you rank Mortal Kombat 2 in the Mortal Kombat films, and will Street Fighter be better? I think Street Fighter will be a lot of fun. Now, this is the thing about Street Fighter. Unlike Mortal Kombat, we've never had a good Street Fighter movie. That 1994 abomination with Jean-Claude Van Damme playing Guile was a terrible movie, and I saw that shit in theaters as a kid and thought it was terrible then. And then you had the dude playing Blanca who didn't even look like he worked out, that had a shitty orange wig who looked more like Carrot Top painted green than anything else. I just thought it was an abomination. Now, the new Street Fighter movie looks like it's a lot of fun. Now, where do I rank Mortal Kombat in the Mortal Kombat film, the newest one? I still think the 95 version's the best, and maybe like this new Mortal Kombat would be the second best. But I still much prefer the original by far, you know? So, I don't know. The biggest thing with every new movie that they make, it just looks so flat and digital. Like, we cannot color grade a movie with enough contrast anymore. Nothing will have depth in it. I don't know why they just can't do it. It looks like it was shot with log. It's like this flat digital version before you color grade something. Just so flat. I want some vibrance. I want some depth. I want a little contrast. Give me some digital film grain. I'll take it. All right, let's keep going here. And the next one is going to come from, let's see. It's coming from Spencer Gadori. Is it Gadori? I'm going to call you Spencer Gadori. There we go, Spencer Gadori. How's it going, man? John, could you give me your best Boss Nass impression from Star Wars? Also, first time super chatter, but I'm a huge fan and love your content, bro. Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you so much. Jar Jar! I don't, was that okay? Was that okay? Was that an okay impression? That's the best Boss Nass impression I can do for you, man. That's all I'm ever gonna have. But thank you for watching, and thank you for the super chat, man. But anyway, you get a party popper. All right, let's keep going. Avocado Balls Johnson back again says, I love you, Avocado Balls Johnson. Don't you ever leave me, man. Don't you ever leave me. All right. Avocado Balls Johnson with pineapple putangi. All right, here we go. In which of these fictional prisons would you serve a 10-year sentence? Arkham, Shawshank, or Oz? Oh my God. Okay, so that's a great question, and I think a great question like that requires some critical thinking skills, if you don't mind me saying so myself. Here it is. Arkham looks unhinged. Arkham, you're going to be in a straitjacket. It looks dirty. It looks grungy. At least the other prisons, they kind of function like a normal prison. Like, you have rec time, you have TV time, you're not in a straitjacket. You know, I'm okay with those things, okay? So I need my rec time. And both of those places have libraries. They have, board games. They have movie nights. In Arkham, you're just sitting in a padded cell with your head against the bars until the Joker comes in there or something. I don't. So now it's between Shawshank or Oz. Now listen, I'm very aware I'm a little too pretty to go to prison, okay? All right? In Shawshank, if I went there in the 1940s, could I maybe handle myself? Maybe. I just work out all day, and I'd be like, hey, listen, there's a guy over there named Andy Dufresne. Okay, he's weak, he's tall, he's like a tall glass of water, just waiting for the wind to push him over. He likes to polish rocks. He works in the laundry room. I'm talking to the sisters. Take care of him then. I won't tell. And then I just make friends with Morgan Freeman. And with all that said, my name is Morgan Freeman. And then you have Oz. Now, when I was a kid in the 90s, I used to watch the show Oz, which is a prison show on HBO from 1996 to 2001 or something. And I used to religiously watch this show. And when I watched this show, I was like, I'm not going to prison because I will probably be crucified on the floor. Now, that show did feature J.K. Simmons, and it took me a long time to come around to liking J.K. Simmons because Oz really encapsulated him as this truly evil character. I believe his last name was Chillinger or something like that. And he definitely took advantage of some people in Oz, to say the least. But the thing about Oz was all of their cells were in these like plexiglass cells, and they had glass and you could see right through them. But they had like TVs and a laundry room area. And I don't know, it looked like a really clean environment. It was kind of one of those places, if you just kept to yourself, you might be okay. You know what? I'm going to Shawshank. I think I could make it in Shawshank Penitentiary. I'm just putting it out there. I just hang out in the Brooks Library all day and I'd study for my GED. Okay, that's what I would do. All right? I'd either get busy living or get busy dying. Yeah, I know he plays a Nazi in the show. Yeah, he's a bad dude. All right. He also plays a sodomist as well. Okay, let's keep going here. But thanks for the question. And let's just not go to prison. How about that? Okay, the next one comes from James Doshier, who says, John, pick your 3 best villains in cinema. I pick Darth Vader, Hannibal Lecter, and Davy Jones. Davy Jones, that's interesting. I mean, you'd have to almost go with like Heath Ledger's Joker, though, if you're talking about charisma. Darth Vader, definitely the biggest daddy of the galaxy. Hannibal Lecter is a great choice, too. I would pick Buffalo Bill as well. I mean, listen, the thing about Hannibal Lecter is he only kills you if he finds you rude. Buffalo Bill will abduct you, put you in a well, keep you there for days, loosen up your skin, make you lotion up, and dance around up top listening to Goodbye Horses as he tucks his man parts between his legs. And you just know you're going to end up as like a leather jacket for him. And that's just not going to be a good time. I actually made a video a long time ago about the best movie villains. And I think all of those choices were in there except for Davy Jones. I mean, Freddy Krueger would also be a villain, would he not? I mean, there's no one more sinister and evil than Freddy Krueger who can haunt your dreams. Like, you cannot escape that. And as a dude who likes to sleep, I just know I would not last very long. Like Darth Vader, like I feel like as long as I run away, like I'm okay. Like I just won't pick a lightsaber fight with the guy. Like Hannibal Lecter, he's just a dude who wants to eat you. But I still think in a fist fight, I could probably take him. Davy Jones, he has tentacles for a beard. That is pretty terrifying. Imagine what he could do with such things. But yeah, my favorite would probably, off the top of my head, like in the last 20 years, I think when it comes to like a villain that stands out, I'd go with like Heath Ledger's Joker. Like that really still stands the test of time. I don't know. What do you guys think? John Doe in 7 was great. I was on the subway today and a man tried to make small talk with me about the weather. I vomited on his shoes. The T-1000, yeah. The T-1000, talk about a dude made out of liquid metal who could just track you down and never stopped. Like it was like It Follows if the person in It Follows could turn into liquid metal. I always thought he was terrifying. Shredder from Ninja Turtles? Yeah. Babies! You gave me babies! Dada? I love it, man. I love me some Shredder. You are my children, and I am your father. Oh, dude, listen. If it was in the early 1990s and I could join the Foot Clan and join Master Shredder and hang out at a warehouse all day where kids are smoking cigarettes, skateboarding, and playing arcade video games and stealing shit and listening to a giant boombox with EC Hammer on it, I would definitely join the Foot Clan. Just putting it out there. That looked too appetizing. I'm sorry. Who wouldn't want to go there? Thanos was good, yeah. Tony Montana. I don't consider Tony Montana a true villain. I almost consider him in a slight fashion an anti-hero. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Ooh, fly pelican fly. Hey, ma. Her womb is so polluted she can't have a little baby, ma. Come on. That's my shitty Montana impression. I'm sorry. Let's just keep going. Long Legs, that was underwhelming. Long Legs was just a shitty version of Buffalo Bill who did not talk as much. Ralph Fiennes and Schindler's List? Yeah, hard to top that one, huh? Hard to top real genocides, isn't it? Yeah, Darth Vader. You got to go with Darth Vader. Most iconic, Darth Vader. All right. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from, and by the way, thanks for the question, James Doshier. You get a party popper. All right, the next one comes from Jake Tammin, who says, and how's it going, Jake? Yo, John, what are your thoughts on the Burton Batman films? The Danny Elfman soundtrack is incredible, plus the Gotham that Burton created is superb. No, listen, you want a gothic, fantastical Gotham City that just looks like there's no daylight seeping through the skyscrapers that overarch the city streets, and just the matte paintings that they had in the backdrops of those movies. Oh, that Gotham City was dark and it was grungy and it looked like it never ended. Talk about a city that just looks crime-ridden and needs a guy in a latex suit fighting the injustices. But now with all that said, let's talk about Gotham City in Batman Returns that literally looks like it was shot in a warehouse. And by Gotham City, I mean it's one square block of Gotham where everything takes place in this one square block of Gotham. There's no side streets. It all happens right here in Gotham Square. If there's crime, it takes place right here. If the Penguin attacks, it takes place right here. If Max Shrek is going to give a speech, it takes place right here. Okay? And with all that said, may I do my infamous Max Shrek impression line from his son. Dad, go. Save yourself. Dad, go. If you haven't seen the movie, I sound stupid, but go watch it. I still like it nevertheless. In the opening scene of Batman Returns from 1992, you basically have Batman coming to save the day by murdering everyone, just running them over, lighting them on fire. It's phenomenal stuff. I love what Tim Burton did with the Batman movies. I did. And the argument with the second movie, Batman Returns, was it got too dark and it didn't necessarily cater to children as much anymore. And I believe McDonald's was immensely mad at the movie because it went way too dark and they were trying to sell Happy Meal toys. But hey, I give it a round of applause for how dark it went. And even as a stupid kid, I appreciated it. But phenomenal stuff, man. And yeah, the scores from Danny Elfman. When I think of like a Batman score, and don't get me wrong, I love what Zimmer did. I listen to it all the time. It pumps me up when I'm in the gym listening to what he did with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. especially the score where he's crawling out of the well. Every time I was in the gym, that just instantly made me stronger. I was like, okay. I was like, if Bruce Wayne can crawl out of that well and go back to Gotham City to save the day, I can bench press 245 3 more times. But the Danny Elfman Batman score, just that's the quintessential one. When I die, that's the one I want played at my funeral. Okay, let's go to the next question here. And by the way, thank you, Jake, for the question. Justice. The next one comes from Clark1140, who says, what is your favorite movie where the main character is a woman over 50 years old? I loved Plurberus or Puberus. Is it Plurberus? Plurberus? Is the main actress that old? I don't think she's not that old. I think she's in her 40s, isn't she? Anyway. And if I had legs, I'd kick you. Oh, thanks, man. Am I thinking of something? Am I thinking of the TV show? Anyway, okay. Okay, so I have to pick a woman who's over. I don't know. The Devil Wears Prada. I don't know. Which was terrible, by the way. That was a terrible movie. The first Devil Wears Prada, I get it. But the second one was just awful. That movie will induce menopause, okay? That's how I felt about it. My mom really wanted to see the movie, so I took her to see it on Mother's Day, and she didn't even like the movie. I was like, see, we should have just watched Project Hail Mary. Now you got me looking at Meryl Streep, looking all old. I'm trying to think, a woman over 50. I was going to say, I want to say, see, my brain instantly goes to like Silence of the Lambs, but Jodie Foster's character was only in her 20s. Then you go to the Alien movies, and Ripley's character was like in her 20s or 30s. And then and even in the Terminator movies, Sarah Connor doesn't turn into her 50s until like the shitty later installments. So I'm trying to think of a movie where a lady, I don't know, that's a good question. A movie with a lady past 50. Yeah, I couldn't finish the show either. I got 2 episodes in. Demi Moore. Yeah, Demi Moore in which movie? Oh, okay. Demi Moore in The Substance. There you go. That's a good one. I'll go with that. Demi Moore in The Substance was phenomenal. I thought she gave it a great performance, and I love The Substance. So I'm going to go with that. Danny says, John, you sexy beast. We missed you. Always a pleasure to watch your stream. Well, hey, man, it's a pleasure for you guys to be here as well. Without you guys, I'm just some loser in his underwear rambling on about movies with party poppers. Basically, I'd be utterly insane if you guys weren't here right now. But since you are here, I'm justified in my existence and what I'm doing. And my behavior is okay. At least that's what I tell myself. So thank you for watching. All right, let's keep going here. Anyway, Clark, this is for you and wanting to see 50-year-old women in movies. Okay. The next one comes from... And by the way, what do you guys think about these ads popping up on YouTube now? I like that they play beside the video rather than leave you guys hanging. I think that was a good change for YouTube. Okay, let's keep going. The next one comes from Patrice Chaswick, who says, good to see you back, mate. Where's the Streamlabs link? My life was finally complete driving along listening to The Power of Love on tape deck in my own DeLorean. Emailed you a pic to your flick Gmail. Did you? Send me another email. Send me a new one. Title it DeLorean. Send me another email. I mean that. I want to see this picture, man. I'll look out for it. Maybe it went to spam. I'm not quite sure. But I hope you enjoyed your DeLorean cruise ride and listening to The Power of Love, man. I'm almost jealous. Did you at least wear a life preserver as you did it with a hoverboard in the back? Okay, let's continue on. But anyway, thanks for the question, Patrice. Thanks for joining me, man. And it's good to be back. As far as my Streamlabs link, I think Streamlabs wants to charge me like a monthly fee to use their link. So I guess I'm just going to have to go with Super Chats for now. I'll try to figure it out. But thanks for the question, man, and thank you so much. Let's wipe that off the screen there. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I messed a whole bunch of stuff up on my Streamlabs a couple of weeks ago, and I had to redo it all today, and it's just a little wonky right now, so I'm doing my best. How are they going to write Catherine O'Hare's character off for the studio season 2? She was so good. I guess you just don't introduce her back into the show. I'd say she's on set somewhere filming a movie. I don't know. Or give her a nice tribute. When does the studio season 2 come out? I actually really like that. I forgot that existed until just now. I liked that. I liked all the one-take tracking shots that they would do in that show. I thought that was phenomenal. Thoughts on upcoming popcorn buckets? Man, hey, listen, that Castle Grayskull popcorn bucket looked pretty cool. I did want it. The thing that turned me on so much about it was the detachable castle tower that was also a cup. I like things like that. I like functionality and performance and also looks. You know, I want all popcorn buckets to also have like a cup that's integrated into the design. But I'm getting picky with my popcorn buckets. Like, listen, I got a giant Galactus head over there. I got Jaws. I got Darth Vader back there. I got a bat signal. I got a bat cowl. I got some popcorn buckets in my closet. I got like the Venom popcorn bucket, the Gladiator popcorn bucket. And I'm like, what am I doing with these? I don't need all. Listen, I got this right here. I bought this. The movie sucked. It was terrible. And with all that said, my name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, father to a dead son, husband to a dead wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life and the next. But man, like, I bought it because the helmet looked cool, but the movie sucks. I just tell myself this is for the first Gladiator movie, not Gladiator 2. Then I got a DeLorean popcorn bucket. Here you go, Patrice Chaswick. DeLorean popcorn bucket for you, man. But yeah, some of the upcoming popcorn buckets, I don't know. Nothing looks really like I have to have it. Like, what's an upcoming popcorn bucket that's a must-have? Somebody let me know down below. I think a lot of them just kind of look shitty. Like, if there's a new one that's cool, I'll definitely buy it. Or if it's like for a movie that I really enjoy, I'll probably buy it. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, I thought the Odyssey popcorn bucket that looked like an IMAX camera, I thought that was kind of cool, but do I really need a shitty looking popcorn IMAX camera on my shelf? And the answer to that is yes, I do. I'm immensely mad that it sold out. And if anyone can get their hands on it, let me know. I will pay for it. But I will not overpay for it. But anyway, yeah. Is there an upcoming popcorn bucket that looks cool? It's good to see you again, man. Was wondering if you could share some of your recent 4K discs that are worth picking up. I'm glad you mentioned that. Would you guys like an impromptu Blu-ray collection update segment in this live show? Because I have some really cool shit to show you. I will wait right here until you guys tell me yes or tell me no. Let's all take a moment. Answer right now in the chat. If you guys want me to talk about this big stack of Blu-rays sitting right beside me, and one of them has Steven Spielberg's face looking at me, I'd love to talk about them. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. All right. Now it's time for a very impromptu Blu-ray collection update segment in this video, because this is all the new stuff that I picked up over the last month or two, or that was sent to me and showed up at my doorstop. But nevertheless, I'm a fan of physical media, and my motto is, if I can't put it on my shelf, it will never have a special place in my heart. And that's how I look at film, and that's how I look at cinema. There's something about owning these optical discs that just make you feel better about yourself. And you can take that movie home and it's part of you now. There's a tactile function. I just like it. It's more exciting. I don't like streaming on Netflix or just scrolling through that. No. I like holding stuff like this. Look at this bad boy right here. This is the Steven Spielberg Spotlight Collection. And this comes with, how many movies does this come with? Let's see. It's packed with over 25 hours of bonus features. I guess I could just look at the package and tell you how many. Oh, it's got 8 movies in it. Okay. So I requested this a while ago. Look at this set. I'm going to open this up. This thing's going to breathe for the first time in front of all of you, and I want you to witness it. Look at this set. Now, this is like a tin case with Steven Spielberg on it. Now, listen, I think it's classy. I think it looks elegant, but here's the thing. Do I wish this looked a little more thematic, a little more vibrant, a little brighter? Maybe it had like a montage of like Jaws and Jurassic Park on there and Saving Private Ryan. Maybe even Schindler's List. I don't know. How do you combine Schindler's List and Jurassic Park on the same box? I don't know how you do that in a classy way, but I would have liked to have seen them try. But my point is, if this was a little bit more bright and colorful, I think it would just look better on the shelf, but it does look classy. Now, I think this box set right here, or this collector's edition from Universal, I think this costs around $200. Now, this is heavy. It has some weight to it. I would say this weighs like, I don't know, 5 pounds at least. But what do you say we just open this bad boy up? All right, let me open this up here. Oh, I almost don't want to open it. Okay, we got to let these movies breathe. We got to let them breathe. Somebody said don't open it. If I don't open this and it goes out of print, will it be worth $1,000 in a couple years? Should I open it or should I not open it? I'm going to open it. I got to open this. I'm sorry. I got to open it. I'm a man of the people for the people. Okay? You got to let it breathe. Oh, come on, little one. Push. Oh, whoa, almost dropped it. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so you're probably asking yourself, John, what movies come in this box set? Well, it comes with Jaws, Encounters of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Raiders of the Ark, E.T., Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, and War of the Worlds. Now, in my opinion, and this is just my humble opinion, I believe some other studios may have owned the rights to some of his other movies. So, like, and I could be wrong. Does Warner Brothers own Catch Me If You Can? And who owns the rights to Minority Report? Because I would much rather see Catch Me If You Can or Minority Report in this lineup over War of the Worlds starring Tom Cruise, which I think was just a kind of an instantly forgettable Steven Spielberg movie. It wasn't as bad as Ready Player One or anything like that, but it was just sort of instantly forgettable. West Side Story, I didn't even watch West Side Story. I didn't care to watch it. I didn't need to see a remake of West Side Story. But the fact that this has like Jaws and Jurassic Park and E.T. in it and Indiana Jones and Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, to me, those are like some of the most phenomenal movies ever made. I mean, can you ever top Jaws or Jurassic Park when it comes to a summertime blockbuster movie? I just don't think you can. I really don't. But anyway, let me take a few of these movies out of this. And by the way, here's there's Steven Spielberg looking at you right there. There's the side. Here's the other side of it. Let's take Jurassic Park out. Ooh, baby. And these are all steelbooks, by the way. And they have these foam inserts in here, which are really nice. This thing feels heavy duty. So this is going to have a prominent place on my media shelf back there for a long time, because just stuff like this makes me happy. Look at this. Look at that steelbook of Jurassic Park, man. Let's open this bad boy up. And you have, is it 2 discs? So you got the 4K disc, and then you have a Blu-ray disc. Okay. Now, supposedly this has a lot of extra bonus features on it throughout all of the movies. Let's see. How many did this say? This has over 25 hours of extra bonus features. Okay. Let's open another one. Let me see. I want to see what all the steelbooks kind of look like. Ooh, here's Raiders. Check that out. We gotta check out Jaws. Down it. Pretty classy. I think I now own like 3 steelbooks of Jaws, but then again, you know, it's never too many. And Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, I did just recently, I watched this movie once a very long time ago, and it was never one of my favorite Spielberg movies, and my wife had never seen this movie. So we were looking for like Spielberg movies because Disclosure Day is coming out. I might have an early press screening coming out that I should go see tomorrow, but it's a 2-hour drive there and a 2-hour drive back. So we'll see if I get around to seeing Disclosure Day. But when it comes to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when it comes to this movie, which came out in 1978, and I think this was Spielberg's follow-up from Jaws, I think there's a lot of good things about it. I think some of the performances are very good, like Richard Dreyfuss just being this obsessed crazy man, taking his neighbor's trash and making models of a mountaintop out of mashed potatoes. I think that's a lot of fun. I think those are some really good performances. And some of the shots in this movie just look spectacular. Some of the night shots over the sky and the alien ships and the music, all of those things are great and glorious. But overall, as a movie, there's not really anyone in this movie I like or root for. And it's one of those things like Richard Dreyfuss's character is obsessed with these aliens and finding out the truth. And eventually he just like leaves his family, goes to Montana. The aliens pick him to go on their spaceship, and he takes off without a second thought in the world. And he's kind of a selfish prick. And I'm just like, why did they take the selfish prick? And he just abandons his family. And I think Spielberg even came out years later and said, yeah, I probably wouldn't do that again. But just watching it now, I'm like, why did you do that in the first place? Like, that was not... It was kind of a misfire on some of the character motivations and logic throughout the film. I don't know. You know, it's fine, but definitely not one of my favorite Spielberg movies. But I get why people love it, and I get why it's a classic, but it's just not one of my favorites. But one of my favorites are Raiders of the Lost Ark, man. Now, this is top tier. But that's a nice cover. What else did we have? Ooh, let's check this one out here. There's E.T. Now, listen, I love me some E.T., but never been in my top 5 Spielberg movies. I love me some Elliot. I like creepy little E.T. When it comes to E.T., though, my favorite ride at Universal Studios, and I still stand by this, is the classic E.T. ride from the early 1980s. It's practical. It has little models. You get on a BMX bike, and you fly over the city, and just the waiting queue at that ride at Universal Studios. You're waiting in like the forest, and there's fog, and it kind of smells a little bit moldy. I love it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube the E.T. ride at Universal Studios. You'll see like a POV video of it. What else do we got? We got Schindler's List, which I've watched one time. Very depressing movie. Not exactly one you want to watch with the family on a Friday night. Saving Private Ryan, which is easily probably my favorite war movie of all time. Love it. And then you have War of the Worlds, which... Ooh, it's stuck in there. Ooh, it's stuck in there. Tom Cruise put that one in there. Which, like, I wish I could like it more than I do. I just think I've seen it a couple times, and I don't love it. All right. But anyway, that's the awesome Spielberg. What is this called again? Steven Spielberg, The Spotlight Collection. I mean, hey, listen, if you don't own these movies on 4K, maybe you go out of your way to pick this bad boy up. All right. Does anyone think Disclosure Day will end up being a great Spielberg movie? Let me know down below. Someone just asked me about El Grande Americano. We'll talk about that. Okay, the next one I want to talk about real quick in this Blu-ray collection update video is the Da Vinci Code on Steelbook. Now, I like the first Da Vinci Code. I think it's okay. This was directed by Ron Howard, I believe. The second Da Vinci Code movie, I think, sucks, but the first one I thought was interesting. Now, Tom Hanks in this movie has a receding hairline and a mullet at the same time, which I don't think is the best look for Tom Hanks' character, but nevertheless, I think the movie's okay. I've seen it a few times. Is this necessarily a movie I need? I don't know about that, but this is the 20th anniversary edition steelbook, which it's a nice looking steelbook by all means, but just not one of those movies I absolutely love. And speaking of movies that I don't love but might have a cult following, and I know some people watching right now will probably like this movie, Speed Racer with Emile Hirsch. Now, this is directed by the Wachowskis, and I watched this movie one time, and I thought to myself, I didn't really know what to think about it. Now, growing up, I would occasionally watch Speed Racer when it was like playing late at night on Cartoon Network or wherever it would play, but I do want to go back and revisit this movie, especially on 4K. I'm going to give it one more shot. So there's Speed Racer on 4K, which is out now. Are you guys picking up Speed Racer? Let me know. Disclosure Day looks a little too digital for me, but I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping it's good too. I've heard it's very subtle. That's what I've heard. Okay, now, speaking of things that aren't subtle, but speaking of things that are phenomenal, is a little movie, and this is literally in my top 20 movies of all time. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves from Arrow Video. Man, oh man, this movie is so underrated. Starring Kevin Costner as the Englishman Robin Hood, who doesn't really try to do an English accent. He just sounds like Kevin Costner. And say what you will about it. It's one of those things I didn't really notice until I was a teenager. I'm like, oh, he's not doing an English accent. And I'm okay with that. But he's teaming up with Morgan Freeman, trying to save Nottingham. Is it Nottingham? Yeah. Or is it Nottingham Forest? Or it's Sherwood Forest. Anyway, this is a great movie. Now look at this. I've been waiting to open this release for a couple of weeks now. Now here's the cover from Arrow Video. And if you guys didn't know, in my opinion, when it comes to physical media releases of catalog titles, Arrow Video is a top tier studio that does that. I mean, if there's a movie that you love, wait for an Arrow Video release and then buy it, because they will justify that purchase. And that's what they've done here. I've been waiting for this movie on 4K for a long time, and it's finally here. Now, on a quick side note, Bryan Adams did the score to this movie, and the score to this movie was actually the song that my wife walked down to the aisle at our wedding. That's how much I like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and that's how sexy Bryan Adams' music is. Anyway, let's open this bad boy up. Comes with the little slip cover back there. And then, let's take it out of there. Don't even get me started on Alan Rickman in this movie as the sheriff of Nottingham. Why a spoon, cousin? Because it's dull, you idiot. But anyway, check this out. Open it up. You got the movie in there on glorious 4K. You got some cards in here. I hope there's one of Christian Slater. Let's see if there's one of Christian Slater in here. There's Morgan Freeman. Oh, here's the glorious Alan Rickman. My name is Alan Rickman. Anyway, really awesome release. Cannot wait to check this out. And it also has look at this booklet that it comes with. I'm going to read this when I'm on the toilet. I will flip through that a little bit later. And also, we got to check this out. I'm going to be very gentle with it. Look, it comes with a poster, man. It comes with a poster. It even smells like Kevin Costner's hair. Look at that. Oh, the original film. Oh, the original one-sheet poster right there, man. That is awesome. Look at that. That is nice. Yeah, I prefer that one. Okay, I'm going to set that down there. But anyway, this is from Arrow Video. Cannot recommend it enough. I don't know what the picture quality looks like. But if it's from Arrow Video, I'm sure it's top notch. Hang on. Okay. Things are falling all over the place. Okay. And that is all of the new 4K Blu-ray movies I picked up recently. Leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. Did you guys pick any of these up? Or are you planning on picking any of these up? And if you have, what does the picture quality look like on some of these movies? Please let me know. Oh, the Morgan Freeman impression? Let me see if I can do it. Well, in this movie, he talks... Hello, Christian. He kind of talks like that anyway. But the dynamic between Kevin Costner and... is his character's name like... Azim? I love that dynamic. I think that's the perfect buddy team up. Oh, and don't even get me started when they go into Sherwood Forest and they make their huts and their tree houses, and I just wanted to live there when I was a kid. I wanted to live in a tree house when I was a kid, and I still do. All right, let's keep going. The next one comes from Daniel Green 61, who says, John, did you watch the drama? Highly recommend. The drama? No, I did not. I did not watch the drama. Is it any good? What's it on? I don't even know what that is. Let me see. Oh, the Zendaya movie with Robert Pattinson? I did not watch that. I didn't watch it. It didn't seem like it was in theaters very long. I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it when it hits streaming. Was it okay? Was it a decent watch? All right, the next one comes from Oliver Staley Henny 8182. I think I got that right, but here it goes. Oliver, hey John. You have inspired me to love films so much as I do, and now I'm in school making films for YouTube. Most filmmakers aspire for getting an Oscar. I aspire to being on this show. Thank you. Well, you're on the show right now, man. I like that we can call this a live show. A show, yes. Well, thank you for that, man. And good luck with making films. What are you making? You got a link to your stuff on YouTube? Send me a link. I want to check it out. But nevertheless, Oliver, thank you so much, man. And one day, if I have guests, I'll try to get you on here. The truth is, I just don't know how to technically add someone to the live show right now. That's how incompetent I am. But nevertheless, man, thank you so much. And good luck with the filmmaking career. I mean, with movies like Obsession, Backrooms, I mean, it seems like YouTube is the way to get your foot in the door into Hollywood these days. So, Godspeed and good luck, man. And thanks for watching. Carter Lovejoy says, any new 4Ks or Blu-rays you recently got? Well, we did just talk about those for 15 minutes, so thank you for the question, though. Yeah, I got Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, thanks, man. I'm trying to think, what else is coming out soon on 4K? Is there anything else coming out? Like any catalog titles? I do want to get the Stranger Things box set from Arrow Video when that comes out. I need that on my shelf. I do. I need it. I need that. It just looks really cool. Dustin Rich says, I aspire to watch YouTube and start smoking again. I mean, we all have inspirations, you know, and desires. But thanks for the question. All right, the next one comes from Avocado Bowls Johnson once again, who says, in an alternate universe, Carl Urban starred in a successful Dredd series instead of wasting 7 years on that dumpster fire, The Boys. Yeah, man, listen, I watched a few seasons of The Boys. I kind of lost interest in it. I don't know. It kind of got too weird and I just didn't care anymore. I thought the concept initially was really interesting. Now, the fact that we don't have another Dredd movie when Carl Urban is ready and willing, that some streaming service doesn't just buy the rights to it and make a $40 million Dredd movie is mind-boggling to me, because it has such a cult following. I think it would do well. I really do. And maybe on the next one, they don't focus so much on slow motion. That could be maybe useful. But other than that, I would love to see Carl Urban come back as Dredd. Yeah, rookie, what's it going to be? I don't know. That was a terrible impression. I am the law. That was my Stallone Dredd impression. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Xavier the One, who says, Disclosure Day, Toy Story 5, are you ready to see both? That's weird that you combine both of those in the same sentence, though they do come out in the same month, don't they? I am looking forward to Disclosure Day. Like I said, I might go to an early press screening tomorrow, but it's in Indianapolis, which is 2 hours away. I have to go to work tomorrow, and then I got to drive 2 hours home. Or I could wait 3 days and watch it here. I'm not quite sure what I want to do, but it is a Spielberg movie, so I might just do it. What else do I have to live for? But I am immensely looking forward to Toy Story 5, man. Like, I'm a Toy Story fanatic. I just watched Toy Story 2 the other night. I have not seen it in a couple years, and I forgot how much I enjoyed that movie. Like the scene where the guy takes Woody and he does all the airbrushing and touches him up and paints him and cleans him up. Oh, just something about that was like so... What's the word I'm looking for? It was like ASMR almost. It was so pleasing to watch. I want some old man to paint me up and clean me up. Fill in my bald spot and paint the bottom of my foot that says Andy. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Toy Story 5 quite a bit. I'm hoping that movie delivers. I wasn't the biggest fan of Toy Story 4, so I'm hoping 5 gives me everything I want. And I'm truly interested if they're finally going to close these characters. Like, are they going to finalize this Toy Story? And are we going to start with a new Toy Story? Like a spin-off? Because I think Woody and Buzz are done. And I think they need to start with a new group of toys. I don't know. Call me crazy. Or maybe we can get a prequel movie in the 1980s. And maybe we can have more Masters of the Universe toys or something. I don't know. Draw me like your French girls. Oh, that's what, I always pay 10 cents no matter what. But I am looking forward to it, man. Okay, the next one comes from Mr. FDT 716. Here it goes. And thank you for the very, very generous question. You get a party popper right to your face. I'm going to take a party popper right to my face. 3, 2, 1. All right. Here it goes. OIF2. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Marine vet from the Bronx, New York. Just reminding you of your diverse fan base. Love what you do. Been watching you since you had a Skeletor sidekick. Oh, Tiny Todd. Well, hey, man, you're an OG fan, and I do appreciate that more than you will ever know. Anyway, rest in peace. Keep bringing back the nostalgia. You take me to a happy place. Well, thanks, man. A vet from the Bronx, man. Well, thank you for your service, your dedication, and most importantly, your gratitude on top of all of those things. That means a lot, man. And I guess you're right. You never really know who's watching, you know. I've had a lot of people over the years who, like yourself, maybe they were a vet. Maybe they were a police officer. Maybe they were a doctor or a lawyer. You never know who's really watching you from afar. And I kind of like that. I find it titillating. But man, thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And once again, thank you. And you get another party popper. All right. Thank you, Mr. FDT 716. All right, let's go to the next one. Is it Tio Urlaglick? Tiro Urlaglick 7325? What the fuck is it? Tio Glur. I can't even say that. Tio Roglick. There we go. John, what's a favorite animated show of all time? I mean, the Batman animated series from the early 1990s, I believe starting in 1992, really defined my dark love and my childhood inspiration for wanting to be Batman one day. But man, talk about a show that didn't treat its fan base like a group of dumb babies. It was dark, it was gory, it told great stories. It had that Art Deco film noir vibe. You know, like my friends were watching like junk, like I don't know, Biker Mice from Mars, which I watched a few times. It sucked though. But I was like watching the Batman animated series. I was watching art, okay? But outside of that, I enjoyed shows on Nickelodeon quite a bit, actually. I enjoyed Doug. Ren and Stimpy was one of those shows it was one of those gross out shows when it always had the close-ups of eyeballs with like cat hair stuck in them. Or like a dude's nose with boogers dripping out of it. Remember gross out cartoons back in the 90s, man? Good times. And then Hey Arnold really spoke to me. That was the vibe. I've never been jealous of anything more in my life than Hey Arnold's room. And he had that potato that worked, or he had a clock that worked with a potato. I was like, that is awesome. I'd rather just have a clock that had batteries in it, though. But man, that was the vibe. Let's see. What else was there? I watched a little Rocco's Modern Life, but I didn't really get that into it. I liked the more subdued cartoons, like Doug. That's kind of the stuff I liked. It was a little more chill. Hey, funny. Roger Klotz. Where was I going with that? But yeah, I think those were a couple of my favorite animated shows growing up. I liked the X-Men animated series back in the 90s. I thought that was a good time. I'm trying to think what else I enjoyed. It's been so long. Really, those are the ones that always stood out to me. I don't know. What do you guys like from the 90s that were cartoon shows? All right, let me try to read some of these questions a little quicker. Jason Nelson says, you beat Dan Murrell in movie fights. His own takes blow. Did I beat Dan Murrell in movie fights? I don't think he ever competed with me in movie fights. He was always like a judge. I don't think I actually ever went up against Dan Murrell. No, I don't think I have. I think if I could do movie fights again, I would be immensely better than I was. And keep in mind, I won 2 out of 3 movie fights I participated in. Just putting it out there. Why? Because I'm a warrior of the night. But no, man, I think if I could do movie fights again, I think I could be so much better. I really do. But man, movie fights it's pretty scary, especially back in the day when people like watched movie fights and it was like a thing. When you go, it's live, it's hot, you're in the studio, there's like 5 cameras, there's a whole crew of people watching you. Dude, after that, I was sweaty. Everyone in the studio was covered in sweat. And you're just trying to be funny and witty and debate about movies, but it gets kind of intense. But yeah, movie fights was a lot of fun. But after doing it 3 times, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this again. This took too much out of me. Yeah, for the 3rd one, I was just underprepared. That's all it was. The first 2 I kind of tried. The 3rd one, I just made it up as I went. All right, the next one comes from Skylar Wheelock, who says 8477, or Skylar Wheelock 8477 says, you get to pick one. 1991 movie to keep. The others are gone forever. Your choices are between T2, Silence of the Lambs, Hook, and Point Break. Damn you to hell. Oh, here, let me take a party popper right to my face because I'm not going to choose. I don't have to answer this. I'm probably going to go with, and I hate this question. I hate it. Those are all my favorite movies. You know that. You know how to pick at a man's heart, don't you? T2 is the quintessential action movie, but Point Break is one of my favorite action movies. Hook makes me so happy, and Silence of the Lambs takes me to a dark, sinister, evil place. I can only keep one of them? I'm gonna go. I'm keeping T2. I gotta keep T2. It's the best action movie ever made. I have to keep it. I have to. You have to keep T2. You also have to take a sip of this warm, caffeinated Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar caffeinated beverage that went flat an hour ago. But it tastes delicious. All right. I'm keeping T2. Why? All right. Skynet will become aware July 7th, 1997 at 2 p.m. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from Marty McFly, who says, be honest. Was Britney toxic? Love your content. People change, you know, you meet people and then you give it a year or two and they change. And then you back up in life years later and you go, you know what? It was an experience, but I'm glad that's not the version of life I live in. All right. The next one comes from Bryce Tiffany 8507, who says, hey, Johnny Boy, I mentioned about 1 year ago on one of the shows that I was applying for vet school. Well, I got accepted, and will be starting at Auburn University this fall. Just me and my Sony Bravia 8. Well, man, that's glorious, and I'm glad you included that your TV set is joining you in your college education, and yay, good job, man. You get a party popper. You get a party popper for such things. And right here, 3, 2, 1. That's for your education. So, man, go save some puppies. Go save some kitty cats, man. Thank you so much, and congratulations. And kick some ass in school, man. Become the Dr. Doolittle of reality, all right? Thank you for your service. But, man, that's awesome, though. Seriously. Keep me updated over the years. Let me know. And don't drop out, you piece of shit. All right. Wade's Movie World 6592 says, hey, John, glad to see you again. Well, Wade, I'm glad to see you too, man. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been like 3-4 weeks, and I was just... During the week, I'm telling you guys, I work all day. I got a pretty physical job that I do enjoy. It's one of the only jobs where I've actually had to go somewhere and work where I feel like I'm finally getting paid what like I should. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, oh, this I don't mind going and doing it. So I do enjoy it. I might, just putting it out there, I might have like a separate TikTok for the job that I do. So maybe in the future that might be a thing. I won't be excuse me, that Dr. Pepper just came up. It's not about movies, but it'll be about what I'm doing in my daily life. But I'm not gonna stop talking about movies. These channels aren't going anywhere. I just now have more time to focus on them. That's the thing. All right, let's keep going here. Poet Season says, thoughts on El Grande Americana. Chad Gable, I think, is one of the most underrated WWE wrestlers of all time. I really think after that last match that he had in AAA when it comes to pro wrestling and Lucha Libres, I thought that was a phenomenal match. And I'm glad it's getting the credit that it deserves. And I'm glad that Chad Gable is getting the recognition that he deserves because the dude is an Olympic athlete, don't forget, but I'm hoping he gets more opportunities. I would like to see Chad Gable in an Intercontinental Championship match against Penta at SummerSlam in Minneapolis. And keep in mind, that's where Chad Gable's from. So that's what I would like to see. But I think the guy's awesome. All right. Wade's Movie World 6592 says, John, please do an updated Blu-ray 4K collection video. Please, we need it. Man, I've been meaning to make that video all summer, and I will tell you, by the end of this summer, I will give you such a video. I feel like right now we're at a point, and you could call this the critical moment, where I think I have enough new movies to justify it, and I feel like it's something that we should do every couple of years, and by couple of years, I think the last time I did one, the last one I did was in 2022. 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 years ago. I think it's time. So we'll do one this summer, okay? So look out for it. And with all that said, thank you for the question, man. And I will do a new Blu-ray collection update video. It'll be a nice hour-and-a-half video, but look out for it. People love those videos. You know how many times people tell me they go back and rewatch the same Blu-ray collection video update? They say it's like the perfect video to watch when they're just eating or want background noise or comfort food. And it's like, I get it, man. I completely understand it. And it's the least I can do. If you want to listen to my magical voice talk about each and every single movie in my collection, I can do that for you. You give me a time and a place and I'm yours. Yeah, like the video, guys. What the F? There's no reason we shouldn't have 10,000 likes on this video right now. I've given you my soul. I've given you my blood. I've given you my sweat, my tears. Most importantly, I've given you a whole bunch of Chinese party poppers right to your face. The least you can do is give me a shitty digital like. Come on. All right, but thanks for the question, man. Okay, IG5BM sounds like a weird robot that you would buy. Never mind. Anyway, here it goes. Greetings from Sweden, John. Just watched you since 2012. First time live, first super chat. Can you guess what my username stands for? Do you think we'll get a MOTU sequel? We need more fantasy movies. Oh, Masters of the Universe. I'm sorry, at this point in a live show, if you give me too many acronyms or too many abbreviations, and my brain will not put them together, okay? I want you to know that. But anyway, man, thank you for watching for the better part of, what is that, 2012? That's a long time, 12, 13, 14 years. Oh my God. All right. What does IG5BM stand for? Does anyone know? I have no clue, man. A sex robot? I don't know. IG5BM meaning. I got 5 on it. I don't know what it is, man. I genuinely don't know what that means. Oh, Halloween? Someone said Halloween. What, Halloween 3? I like seeing you elbow drop Blu-rays in those videos. Oh, my movie night videos in my first house that I bought in the basement. Yeah. You know, sometimes I go back and watch that shit. I'm like, is that really me? Did I do that? And then I feel so old. I'm like, listen, I'm still trying to be fun and vibrant, but man, it just time catches up to you. But nevertheless, man, thank you guys. And thank you for watching. It does mean a lot. Thoughts on the theater being more packed nowadays? Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. That's a good question. So over the last week or two, when I've went to the theater, like when I saw Obsession, when I saw even Masters of the Universe, when I saw Backrooms, when I saw whatever other movie, Scary Movie 6, the theaters were like pretty full. And the lobbies were full. There was actually a line for the concession stand. It was so long that I didn't even redeem my free points for a popcorn because I knew I wouldn't see the previews for the movie. And unless I can watch at least 2 previews before the movie starts, I cannot get acclimated before the movie. It's a process. You have to respect it. But more importantly, yeah, theaters are like lively. Movies are coming out. People want to go out. It's the summertime. And if anything, that is amazing. That is amazing for the theater going experience, and that is phenomenal for cinema. It shows studios, if you make something that people want to see, they'll come fucking see it. It's not some kind of weird sorcery. It's simple math. Just make movies people want to see that are worth leaving your house to put pants on and pay $17.95 for a ticket. Unless you do the Regal Movie Club Pass, which is like $20 and you can see all the movies you want, which just seeing one movie justifies the purchase. Not sponsored, but just a recommendation for everyone that has a Regal Cinema nearby. But they should sponsor me because I would like to whore that shit out. But anyway, back to my point. Cinemas are alive and well, and I love it. It makes me excited. It makes me happy. When I pull into the theater parking lot and it's packed, my first thought is, man, I'm pissed off because now I have to park way in the back by the bushes where the homeless guys sleep and take piss and take a piss on my front tire. I did see that at somebody else's car one day. But anyway, it does make me happy. It reminds me of like the 1990s when the movie theater was just packed and it was bustling. And the greatest thing is the last three or four movies I've seen in the cinema, the audiences were great. They had etiquette. They laughed when they should laugh. They cried when they should cry. I don't know what movie I saw where they should cry, but most importantly, it just feels like theater etiquette's coming back and movies are coming back. And in the last couple of months, we've been inundated with a handful of pretty decent movies. So 2026 is a much better year than 2025 was for movies by far and away. And I can't wait to see what else comes out this year. Now, I do have some, upcoming movies I'm excited for, and only time will tell if they're worth that cinematic experience, and I'm hoping they are. But man, yeah, movie theaters are alive and well right now. And the fact that like Masters of the Universe isn't making any money at the box office, when I went to see this movie, it was like the theater was like 70% full. I saw it on a Saturday, not even the opening night on Friday. So I don't know. Maybe it's just where I live in the Midwest. We're more into dudes who work out and fight with swords and ride green tigers and shit. But outside of that, though, it is nice to see that audiences are returning to the theaters. But once again, if you give someone something that they want to see, they'll probably go see it. And then again, I think most people are waking up to the fact that most streaming movies just suck ass. They do. And that's where they belong. They are the new $5 Walmart DVDs that you get for free on Netflix, of course, but there's a reason you're getting it for free on Netflix. But anyway, yeah, it's nice to see theaters are full again, and I hope the trend continues. And, I hope the summer's good to cinema, because if theaters die, movies die, it all collapses under itself, and then my reason to live, my escapism from life, well, then it just fades away. And I don't want that. You don't want that. And plus, we need shit to talk about. So, yeah, movie theaters. All right, let's keep going here. Did you like the movie Mandy? What the fuck? What was the movie Mandy? Oh, Mandy with Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I watched that once. That's when Nicolas Cage was doing every single movie he could back to back. And like they would hide it under like, it's an art house weird movie. And I was just like, it's not good though. I watched it once. The scene where he's in the bathroom freaking out, I thought was okay. Outside of that, I don't remember anything about it. All right. The next one comes from Just Gamer from Glasgow. Well, hey, man, how's it going over there? All right, here it goes, buddy. John, you sexy man. Can you give me my mental gaming channel a shout out? Just a Gamer from Glasgow. So check out Just a Gamer from Glasgow. He likes to play video games. Specifically, I'm not sure which games, but it's a phenomenal channel that I've never seen. But I think you guys should all go watch it right now. And I'll tell you what, man, since you're such a nice guy, and I like my viewers probably more than they even like me, I'm willing to look at your YouTube channel right now. What the fuck am I doing? What is this? Okay. Gamer from Glasgow. I'm looking it up, man. It better be searchable. Glasgow review. Here it is. Is this it? But no, that's a different thing. Your channel's not popping up. I see Glasgow review, but that's a different channel name. Anyway, I did my best. But anyway, man, thank you for the question. Good luck with your YouTube channel. And Put more tags in your channel though. Maybe I couldn't find it. Maybe I'm stupid. But anyway, man, thank you so much. Here's a party popper. And if you guys check him out, let me know. Search high and low on YouTube. All right. Thank you, man. All right. Let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from... Oh, gosh. Where am I? Oh, gosh. Where are we at in the questions? Here we go. Okay. But anyway, there's his channel name right there. Just a gamer from Glasgow. Glasgow. Yes. Just a gamer. Yeah, I cannot find this on YouTube, man. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, the next one comes from JokerFace501, who says, John, have you seen Spider Noir with Nicolas Cage? What's the matter? You got a spider in your pocket or something? Anyway, Cage's performance is so good in it. Also, John, are you a fan of the band Alice in Chains? I like me some Alice in Chains. Not one of my favorite like metal rock bands by any sense. You know, like I liked his cameo in Wayne's World, but I think they're okay. Frankenstein, something like that, right? I'm not super familiar with all of them, but it was never one of my favorite metal or rock metal bands from the early 90s, late 80s. Always more of a Metallica guy, maybe AC/DC or something. But what was the next part of your question? Oh, yeah, I have not watched the Spider Noir series yet. I have not watched it. I've heard mixed feelings and thoughts on it. I do want to check it out. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's sort of on the to-do list. Is it worth checking out? If you guys have seen it, let me know down below. Oh gosh, I'm like a spider or something. I got a little web. I found his channel in 1 second, laugh aloud. Just type in the full name and it pops up. Dude, I don't know, man. I just know how to make YouTube videos. I don't know how to use it. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to look at it. Just a gamer from Glasgow. Oh, here it is. I found it. You're right. You just don't put a space in there. Okay, man. Well, hey, thanks so much. And there's his channel, everybody. Check that shit out right now and subscribe. See? Click that subscribe button. Boop. I just did it. I got a little web. Go do the same. I found his channel in 1 second, laugh aloud. Just type in the full name. Dude, you got 299 subscribers. Let's get this man to 300. Come on. I just know how to... All right. All right. Let's keep going. I feel good about that now. All right. Elliot Cecil. Thanks for the question about Spider-Man and Nicolas Cage. Yes, Spider-Man Noir is worth it. Saw one episode. Felt like high-budget CW superhero show. Yeah, that's the vibe I was hoping not to get. Spider Noir is freaking great. My 76-year-old dad is really digging it and watched the first 4. Gonna do the rest next weekend. Okay, man. Well, hey. I'll check it out at some point. So thanks for the question. Was that a party popper or something? All right, the next one comes from... Oh, we got the same question here from Enriqueum GM, who asked the exact same question. Please do a Nick Cage Spider Noir. Don't just stare at it. Swing a web in my butthole or something. Hell on the news. That's all I got, man. Here's a fucking party. Here's a party popper. Let's keep going. All right. I like one of my cameras all covered in party popper bukkake. All right, the next one comes from Aaron Papart. How's it going, Aaron Papart? Here it goes. Hey, John. My indie film is finally on streaming. You watched the trailer a while back on the live show. It's named California Dreamin'. Well, everybody, check out California Dreaming. It's streaming right now. Where is it streaming? Please let us know. Is it on Hulu, Amazon Prime? Let us all know in the normal comment section down below. Dustin Rich says, I've heard nothing but great things about Spider Noir, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, same. Would you like to see a sequel or a prequel about the Gimp's origin? I would. I really would. I think I said that a long time ago. Where is this guy from? How did he end up in a leather Gimp suit in a pawn shop basement living his life in a cage? And he seems very happy to be there. I wish I could be that content in life. Anyway. Yeah, let us know where it's streaming, Aaron Papart, and congrats, man. Okay, the next one comes from Robert Giacinta, 6323. How's it going, Robert? Thanks for coming back once again, buddy. Here it goes. Missed you, John. Choking my chicken isn't the same without you. Which group of kids would you rather hang out with, Gummo or kids? That's a lot of creepy shit all in one comment, but now let me elaborate on said comment. The kids in the movie Kids, you know, that movie's the most depressing movie I've ever seen. It really is. But the movie Gummo brings a smile to my face. Now, can I eat when I watch it? Absolutely, I cannot. If you've never seen the glorious 1997 movie Gummo, it's truly terrifying. There's like a scene where they're like whipping cats and beating each other up, and the one dude's like, hey dude, nice shoes. Hey dude, nice shoes. And they get in a fight, and then there's a kid that takes a bath while eating spaghetti, and then he goes down in his mom's basement and starts doing curls with forks and spoons taped together. It's the most outlandish shit you'll ever see in your entire life, but it's definitely worth a watch at least once in your life. So I'd probably want to hang out with the weird, trashy kids in Gummo. For some odd reason, I think that would be interesting to me. That's all I'm saying. Wasn't Rosario Dawson, a.k.a. Ahsoka, in Kids? Yeah, it was like her first like main leading role, or one of her first roles. Kids came out in, what, 95? Weird movie, man. Definitely a depressing movie. All right. I watched that once back in the late 90s. I was like, this is okay. All right. But it has stuck with me since. So there's that. So the little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo. There you go. All right. Let's not talk about AIDS now. All right. MVS 5248 says, watched Excalibur for the first time and was absolutely blown away. An epic spectacle with great substance. I implore you to pop in that 4K. Hang on. I'll be right back. You mean this 4K right here? Yeah, man, I have been meaning to watch this. This is on my stack of like movies to watch pile back there in the corner. I don't put them on the shelf until I watch them, okay? But I have been meaning to watch Excalibur. This is also from Arrow Video. Came out a few months ago. Awesome looking release. I have lately, and since watching Masters of the Universe, I've been in the mood to watch like some dark fantasy, right? And I think like that's a genre. I think if they just made more of those, I think people would come out and watch them. And I think that was the biggest thing missing from Masters of the Universe, was like a dark fantasy vibe. It just kind of gave you like surface level, like He-Man, you know? So anyway, I do want to watch it, and you kind of just sold me on it. Like, I do want to check it out. Okay, the next one, and thanks for the question, man. You get a party popper. I don't think that was I'm sorry it was a lame party popper, but you got one. If you saw my setup right now, my camera, it is just drizzled with streamers. Follow me on Instagram. I'll share a picture after the live show of what I'm looking at right now at the Flick Pick. Okay? All right. But yeah, thanks for the question, man. I definitely will check it out. Tio Glick, or Tiro Glick, says, hey, John, did you watch X-Men 97? I watched all but the final episode. Me and my friend who's a huge X-Men fan, he likes the original series even more than I do. We watched all of them in like a day, and then I had to leave, and then we just never got around to watching that final episode. I liked it. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I like it more than the original animated series though. Some of the stories in the X-Men 97, like the story of it, and it's been months since I watched it. I don't know. I don't know if it really hit the spot for me as much as it did some other people. But I do like the classic arcade cabinet with X-Men on it. I think that's beautiful to look at. But I did not finish X-Men 97. Did you guys like it, or did something feel slightly off to you? Let me know. All right. Tiro Glick back again says, what's a canceled movie you would like to see back? A movie that was supposed to come out but didn't? Oh, God, that's a great question. Let me look this up. Movies. Oh, okay. Well, here's a list. I don't know if these are like the best choices. Remember when they made Batgirl back in 2022, but they just like never released the movie? I would be curious to watch that. Do I think it's good? Maybe not. But it has Brendan Fraser playing Firefly. Could have been okay. The Day the Clown Died, 1972. All right. Oh, I'll tell you. You know what? Okay, here it is. This I'm just going to stick with this one. I got two. I have two, I'm going to say. All right. They're both superhero movies, but, you know, the question is, what could have been, right? So the first one that always gets me the most excited, because I'm a huge James Cameron fan. I love T2 Judgment Day. I love me some Titanic. I like some True Lies. Aliens, can't go wrong with that. But he was supposed to make a Spider-Man movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. And I think a James Cameron Spider-Man movie, that would have been top tier. I would have loved to have seen what the vibe of that movie was. And, what could have been? The other one was the Superman Lives directed by Tim Burton, starring the great, the beautiful Nicolas Cage. I'm from Krypton or something. I don't know. Lex, what's the matter? You got a spider in your... yeah. So, like, the Superman Lives movie could have been truly fascinating and weird and bizarre and trippy and Tim Burton-y. And I think that would have been a phenomenal experience to witness. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. And it hurts me inside that we didn't get either of those two movies. But then you get movies like The Marvels. Like, that gets made, but not Superman Lives, you know? It's just crazy to me. Someone said Sleepaway Camp. Superman 2, Brandon Routh. I wasn't a big fan of Superman Returns, so I didn't care that the sequel didn't come out. The Vega Brothers should have happened. Yeah, that would have been a cool Tarantino spinoff. Yeah, but I think that answered the question. John Travolta playing Bizarro. Ooh, that'd be interesting. George Miller's Justice League movie. Yeah, I remember that was supposed to come out in 2007, the Justice League movie. But here's the thing about that. Like, originally they were going to have Arnie Hammer play Batman. Do I need to say more on how catastrophic that movie would have been? I don't think it would have been good. Do I want to see it? Yes. But do I think it would have been like this phenomenal movie that we missed out on? No. The Gambit movie? Yeah, but the time has passed. Hey, at least we got to see what's-his-face as Gambit and Deadpool and Wolverine. All right. Let's go to the next one here. The next one comes from Bo Cylinder, who says, are there any good horror films from the 90s except Scream? What? There's tons of good horror movies from the 90s. Take that. Let's look them up together. Yeah, the thing is, like, I know what you did last summer. Going back and rewatching it, it's not that good, to be honest with you. It's not. Jennifer Love Hewitt's fun, but man, what are you waiting for? But outside of that, it's Not that great. Now, the 90s weren't really known for their horror films. They were known for like everything else, though. Every other genre was like perfected in the 90s. Like, I just showed my wife Stargate for the first time. I was like, isn't that a fun little underrated movie no one talks about from the 90s? Good times. Best 90s. Well, let's see. Oh man, the 90s had a few good ones. Okay. Well, you had Blair Witch Project, which I don't like. I don't like the movie. Never have. Never have. Never thought it was scary. Never thought it was good. I understand why it's so successful. I get it. It revolutionized the genre of found footage, but I didn't like it. Okay. But anyway, you had the made-for-TV It. You had Silence of the Lambs, which was a horror movie and thriller, which was phenomenal. Misery was a great thriller movie. You had Scream. Let's see. Disturbing Behavior. Not the greatest. You had The Exorcist 3, which I've seen once a long time ago, but people I know has a cult following. Not really a horror film, but like Deep Blue Sea was a fun little thriller movie. Definitely a good shark kind of movie to watch some popcorn to. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of weak, shitty movies in the 90s for the horror genre. But they had great thriller movies. Like, the 90s got the thrillers down. So, like, if you wanted, like, Seven, which is, like, a thriller/horror vibe, like, it perfected that. But just straight up, like, horror movies, yeah. Like, yeah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I remember seeing that in theaters and being like, that was a little too meta for its own good. Yeah, Jason Goes to Hell sucked. Blade was good. Not really. I wouldn't call it a horror movie, though. But House on Haunted Hill I thought was good. And then I went back and rewatched it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the greatest. Halloween H2O, it's okay. It's the biggest thing about Halloween H2O is Michael Myers looks like he weighs 133 pounds and he's 5'2". It's like, why is this little boy trying to kill everybody? What are we doing here? I don't just bop. Go to sleep. Oh, the Faculty was great. Yeah, I guess you could call The Faculty a horror movie. Yeah, it's got aliens, Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe. I like The Faculty quite a bit. There were some good movies in the 90s. But if you wanted like a straight up horror slasher movie, yeah. Like Scream was pretty much the quintessential one. Yeah, Misery's phenomenal. But I just think of like Misery as like a thriller. So Sleepy Hollow was fun. Yeah, dude, the 90s is the best genre for movies. If you could give me one decade to like that's the only decade of movies I can watch, I would be more than happy just to have the 90s. Good enough for me. All right, let's go to the next one here. And the next one comes from a glitch in the code who says, updated top 20 movies of all time vid anytime soon. Man, it's taken me a month to make a new live show. So I promise you at some point before the 20th anniversary of my channel, The Flick Pick, comes up, I will do a top 20 movies of all time video. Okay, I will. I promise. Because it has changed. Some things have changed. Some things have stayed the same. But isn't that just life in itself? But yeah, we'll do a new top 20 at some point. Excuse me. The biggest question I have to ask myself is, what is my favorite movie of all time now? Like, it's between like 3 or 4 movies. And I don't know how to pick and choose. But I will at some point, man. Oh, we got Claudio Rogajon in the chat. How's it going, Claudio? Here's a super chat. No, you gave me a super chat. I give you a party popper. That's how this goes. How's it going, buddy? Here it goes. It's not a live show without Claudio. Here it goes, baby. What do you think of the original Masters of the Universe film? I give Dolph Lundgren some leeway because he barely knew English at the time. And he still barely knows English 40 years after the fact. But beyond all of that, I think it's a terrible movie. It's not very good. It's pretty underwhelming. The guy who played Skeletor, I think, was like a classically trained actor. And they just put some like white muck on his face. And they're like, yeah, that looks enough like a skeleton face. It's pretty terrible. I've watched it once. And I do think the new Masters of the Universe is significantly better if you're a fan of the original IP, but it wasn't very good. But that's when Dolph Lundgren was starring in all these shitty movies. Like, did you ever watch the Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren? It just like takes place in a sewer. It's like, what is this? He's just running around in a sewer. But anyway, thanks for the question, man. Uranium Cranium says, you know your favorite movie is T2. That might not, but overall, what is my favorite movie? I don't know if it's T2. It's in the top 5. I don't know if it's number 1, though. All right, the next one comes from Kevy Rez, who says, have you ever seen the movie The Skin I Live In? No, I have not. I know everything about it. I've read about it. I never got around to watching it. It's one of those movies that has escaped me since when did it come out? Like 2014 or 12 or something like that? When did that come out? I know everything about the movie. 2011. Yeah. It's only been like 15 years. I should probably get around to watching it at some time. But it's one of those movies, man, like Ex Machina. I went like 5 years without watching that. I don't know why. But I have been meaning to watch this for a long time. I know what the twist is. I know what the story is. And it's just one of those movies that you got to be in the right mood to watch it. And when I'm laying in bed wanting to eat some popcorn and just chill out for the night, it's not like one of those movies you just turn on and go, oh, this will be a fun Friday night, you know? So that's been the holdup. What about the skin the pigeon lady lives in? You mean bird-covered shit? Yeah, that's more scary than anything you could ever imagine. Huh. That's a nightmare. All right, Shav324 says, love from Iran, epic elbow drop, Tiny Todd for us. Well, Tiny Todd is now burning in hell for his sins against humanity, so I wish him luck, but thank you for that epic elbow drop. Thanks for that, man. Tiny Todd. I'll bring back that little plastic skeleton I bought from Walmart for $4.99 in 2011 at some point in life. All right, Claudia Rogajon back again says, this might sell you on Spider Noir. There's a scene with a drunk Nicolas Cage in his underwear wearing the Spider-Man mask, and it's hilarious. Okay, well, first you had my attention, but now you have my curiosity. I do want to see that. Okay, you sold me. You win. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I do want to watch it. It just, I have not had the time to do it, man. But I will get around to checking it out. Did they release every episode, or are they releasing like a batch of the episodes at a time? Because when it comes to those episodic series, especially when it comes to superhero shows, I like to wait till they're all out so I can just like binge them. John's favorite movie is Nightcrawler. It's in the top 5, but it might not be my favorite movie of all time. I'm just putting it out there. It was at one point, but I don't know if it's my number 1. Well, thanks for the statement, Claudio. Here's a party popper. All right, Nicolas Cage. How in the name of Zeus's butthole? Xavier the One says, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, Avengers Doomsday, ready? Yeah, man. Hey, listen. This is like the first time in a while that I've genuinely been excited for like 2 Marvel movies that feel like they might have a purpose. They look like they have like at least... And I haven't seen, like, there's not been a trailer for Avengers Doomsday or anything, but I'm hoping they have, like, a little stylistic nuance in them. And we're not just trying to connect the dots. Like, they have a story to tell. And I'm hoping they add a little more edge to them. You know, I'm looking forward to both of them. I really am. Like, I'm glad that this new Spider-Man movie it doesn't feel like in many ways, it's a very Marvel-fied Spider-Man movie, yes. But it looks significantly better than the previous Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. It looks like it's going to go just have a little more edge to it, and that gets me excited. Plus, I like that it's going back to the basics. The fact that we're getting rid of Stark tech, oh, finally, we're not watching little Spider Boy, or Iron Boy, or whatever you want to call it. And Avengers Doomsday, I'm looking forward to that. I don't care what anyone says about Robert Downey Jr. being, oh God, what is his? I just forgot his name. Victor Von Doom. Yes, Dr. Doom. Doomsday, there you go. I don't mind it. As long as his performance is different than what he did with Tony Stark, then hey, I'm all for it. The man can act. If he can do a good Dr. Doom, then so do it. I'll take a different, weird multiverse version of Tony Stark. All right, let's go to the next one here. Yeah, I'm ready. I can't wait. Xavier the One says, Grown Ups 3 will happen on Netflix. Thoughts on MIB? Are you talking about, what's MIB? Money in the Bank? What is that? Men in Black? What are we? Is it Men in Black you're referring to? I don't give a shit about Grown Ups 3 as much as I didn't give a shit about Grown Ups 1 or 2. I don't think those movies are funny. I think they're made for how you have an uncle who drinks too much and he likes to sit out on the front porch just looking into the distance. That's the kind of movies that uncle would watch. I had one of those. I don't care about the grown-ups movies. I'm sorry. I just don't. I like the majority of the cast, but I don't want to see them come together to make this watered down family comedy movie. Men in Black, is that what you're referring to? Yeah, Men in Black movies. The first one's great. Second one's not good. The third one sucked. But the first one's phenomenal from 1996. This is my happy face. That stuff was good. I remember buying the Men in Black action figure toys. I bought 3 of them, and I'm I don't want any more of these. Why am I buying these? Robert Giacinta, 6323 says, please look up pictures of Travolta at Cannes. Okay. First one's phenomenal from 1996. I mean, listen. Does he look a little pretentious? Does he look like his beard was spray painted on his face? Yes. That stuff I heard good. He got a standing ovation. I remember buying the Men in Black action figure toys. I bought 3 of them, and I'm I don't want any more of these. Yeah, why am I buying these? John Travolta. I'm good looking. I like me some Travolta. What movie did he get a standing ovation for? I don't even know which movie it was. Somebody let me know. It definitely wasn't the sequel to The Fanatic, was it? Okay, let's go to the next one here. I hope that was... Is that what you wanted? Okay. The next one comes from, and the last question I have here is from Skylar Wheelock, who says, Happy 30th birthday to Michael Bay's The Rock. The Rock is one of Michael Bay's best movies. Welcome to The Rock. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. Yeah, that team up of Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage going to Alcatraz Island to diffuse chemical bombs. Oh, man, that was glorious. Yeah, that's one of my favorite action movies. I used to watch that movie religiously as a kid. All the time. I remember I recorded it off HBO and watched it on a VHS all the time. Phenomenal movie. Is that 30 years old today? Yeah, that car chase with the Humvee and the Ferrari. I always loved that. It was good stuff. I like to think of that as the unofficial sequel to the Sean Connery James Bond series. Just putting it out there. Chris Solomu 991 says, Hello, John. What's in life since the last live stream? What's new in life since the last live stream? And by the way, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this live show in just a few minutes. So if you have another question, I'll give you 30 seconds to put it in. I will answer every single question that comes in, but you have 30 seconds starting now. So since the last live stream, I've just been watching movies, working my normal job all day. I do home inspections for a living. I do enjoy it. I get to fly a drone and find problems with people's houses, and I think it's really enjoyable. Every day is a little bit different. I sort of feel like I'm using my Batman detective skills. I enjoy it. It's keeping me in shape and active. It's kind of fun, a little bit dangerous some days, but I enjoy that. You know, it's kind of fun and mildly suspenseful. Outside of that, man, just trying to keep up with life, doing my best. I have been watching movies on a weekly basis. That is my escape away from life. And I have been meaning to make a live stream for the last 3 weeks, but man, the energy just was not there. And you guys know how it goes. If I don't have the energy to give you for a live show, I'm not going to half-ass this. But I did shoot a movie night episode, so that should be coming out maybe this week, so look out for that. And with all that said, let me see what you guys said in the chat over here. Dustin Rich says, Tarantino helped touch up the script for The Rock. You know what? I can kind of see that, because that was like better than a Michael Bay movie could have been. And some of the dialogue was actually catchy and memorable, especially from Nick Cage and Sean Connery. Dustin Rich says, we will get another live stream before 2027. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing these on the weekends, so look out for that. Have you seen Mortal Kombat 2? What are your thoughts? Any good? Scroll to the beginning of this live show. We talked all about Mortal Kombat 2 in detail. And it was okay. Like, some of it was okay, but mostly it was forgettable. I still much prefer the original 95 Mortal Kombat. Okay, we got one here from Claudia Rogujon, and this might just be the last question of the night. Chris Solomon says, Are you going to Chicago soon, or plan on to travel anywhere? You know, to be honest with you, I don't have any plans to go anywhere too far, because man, the thought of I was actually supposed to go to LA for this special Sony event last week on a Wednesday, and I just could not bring myself. It was a free trip and everything. It would have been cool. I think Jeremy Johns went, so I could have saw him again. Last time I saw that guy was 2012. I could have went, and I just did not want to go. I just didn't want to go to LA. I didn't want to get on a plane. I was like, I want to be home. I want to be in my underwear, watching my TV, relaxing with my thoughts. So as far as going anywhere, I don't have any immediate plans or any vacation plans. Really, just being at home relaxing is good enough for me. Or having a bonfire in the backyard. Something as relaxing as magical as that. All right, Claudia Rogujon, here it goes, man. Is it bad? I wanted to get the 4K of The Punisher 1989, and I'm stupid for wanting it because I kind of enjoy that movie. To be honest with you, I have not watched that movie since probably 1998, and I just remember thinking it was really bad and underwhelming for a Punisher movie. I was hoping it would have been something more like Escape from New York, but with the Punisher in it, which is kind of maybe what it should have been, except you just have Dolph Lundgren mumbling around sewers. So, hey, but if you like it, man, buy that shit, watch it, enjoy it. I didn't even know it was on 4K, but thank you for the question. Dustin Rich, we talked about Backrooms earlier, so look out for that. Just scroll back. In the beginning of the video, I talked about Masters of the Universe, Scary Movie 6, Backrooms, Obsession, Mortal Kombat 2, Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu. I talked about all that fun stuff in the beginning of the live show, so just scroll back. It's all there. Can't wait till the next live stream in August. No, I'll get you one mid-June. Don't you worry about that. But anyway, guys, I will see you next week for another live show. As always, I do want to say thank you for joining me for this new live show. Sometimes when I disappear for a month, I'm like, are people going to come back? Do they want to come back? And here you guys are. Right now, we got 200 people. Earlier, we had 300 people just watching. So thank you for that. It does mean a lot. As always, guys, I do want to say thank you and thanks for hanging out. It's always fun. And I think this was a great way to cap off the weekend. So tomorrow's Monday, which sucks, but nevertheless, I hope you guys had a good Sunday night hanging out with me. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next live show. Take care. Have a good night. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. I forgot. Oh, here it is. Okay. Bye.